Hello, everyone, and many thanks for joining today's stream, traditional Sunday community chat. And as always, I have prepared a news segment for you. A lot of news on some major developments. We can go through all of it and summarize basically not just this week, but also past 2 weeks of this unprovoked war of aggression that U.S. and Israel launched against Iran. Whole day's operation, by the way, in my personal opinion, is of course just one part of decades longer strategy, geopolitical strategy of the Western ruling class directed against China, against Russia, to maintain a dominance in this world. It's led by Western ruling class, of course, and somewhat surprisingly, past week I did notice that some leading figures in alternative media began talking about possible links of this escalation in the Middle East with China. For example, Brian Berletic from New Atlas spoke about such a link, although he did not enter in his explanation of the big picture that he sees it. He did not went as far as I do when it comes to end game of this strategy that Western ruling class is employing or deploying. But anyways, talks has begun on the matter, and as time goes by, I think more and more analysts in the field of alternative media will come to the same page that I am for many years now, right? Because I knew this would happen, and I was writing about it. I was talking about it for years now, right? Anyways, we can summarize everything, and of course, I join community chatter, and I will react on the news, on the questions, on the comments from the members of the community. This Sunday chats, community chats, were also fundraisings, dear friends. And well, if you like my work and want to support her, well, you're more than welcome to donate either through PayPal or Boosty, or use Super Chat feature on Rumble for that. Premium subscription feature there also will work, of course. Or you can subscribe to my Patreon and Boosty pages, dear friends. That will be also a great supporter. This is the first week since the beginning of these changes on my project, when from Monday to Friday, all the live streams, all the content that I do on YouTube and Rumble, after this streaming, videos then are unlisted and are available on my Patreon and Boosty channels. And you can see there are also original links of those videos on YouTube and Rumble in case you want to watch exactly on those platforms. But it's you have to have those links, right, that you can see on my Patreon and Boosty. Otherwise, you would not be able to see the video after the live stream. Anyways, first week of these changes, and we have I'm happy to say that we have 2 new members on Patreon this week. Hopefully, next week, more members of our bigger community from YouTube and Rumble will decide to join our Patreon or Boosty community and support my work this way. And also, I want to highlight, dear friends, that there was a donation yesterday, and also today. Yesterday was the donation from Eofi. Thank you very much, Eofi, for your $55 donation yesterday. And comment from Eofi is, please, Levand and Anna, keep up their brilliant work. Unmissable. Thank you very much. As we say in our native Irish Gaelic, Teokfidish, our day will come. Thank you very much, Eofi. I did not mispronounce in Irish, I'm quite sure, the sentence there. But thank you very much for your kind words and generous support. I appreciate your support and attention. And also, this morning, just a few minutes ago, before I launched the stream, Anna, she's at work now. She dropped a screenshot that there was a donation of, it shows me $11.42, $12, I guess, from Stefan. So thank you very much, Stefan, for your donation. I appreciate your support. Thank you. And so yes, that's being said, dear friends, I wanted to highlight this support from members of community. And okay, you can use, of course, the support platforms if you want to send question or the comment, or super chat on Rumble. I will react on super chat as soon as I can, as soon as I see it. And okay, I think it is time to go through some news. I think it will be good if I will give you some news first, then we can have a chat about any topic, really. So okay, let's talk about news. Let's talk about news, by the way. And I'm gonna start. I know whole world's attention is focused on the Middle East these days, but nevertheless, dear friends, collective West is waging war against Russia, against Russian people, and therefore, of course, we here in Russia are very much focused on developments in regards to this proxy war, and obviously we pay attention to Middle East too. But I will go first with this proxy war. And according to latest report of Russian Defense Ministry, past night Russian air defense systems intercepted 170 drones that were launched by Kyiv regime with assistance of NATO to strike deep into Russian territory. Drones were intercepted over the Tver, Bryansk, Belgorod, Kaluga, Kursk, Smolensk, Tula, Rostov, Volgograd, and Saratov regions, also over the Krasnodar region, Adygea, Crimea, over the Black Sea, and also over the Moscow region, including 40 drones that were directed towards the Moscow itself. Unfortunately, quite a vast geography of these long-range attacks on the Russian Federation, orchestrated by NATO member states, first and foremost by US and UK, of course. And drone numbers are increasing, by the way, this daily attacks on the Russian Federation. And I mentioned in yesterday's walk and talk video, if you watched it in yesterday's update, that Moscow was one of the main targets of this long-range attacks of NATO and their proxy Kyiv regime. Yesterday, significant number of drones were intercepted over the Moscow region. Last night, 40 drones were intercepted that were flying towards Moscow. And this morning, according to mayor of Moscow, at least another 28 drones were intercepted by air defense systems on their approach to Russian capital. And yesterday it was a 65. In yesterday's news update, I shared information and said that I wouldn't be surprised if final number would reach 30 or 40 even, maybe more. And that's exactly what happened when it comes to these drones that were directed towards Moscow. 65 drones were intercepted yesterday during the day that were launched in direction of capital. Also, Russian air defense systems in past 24 hours, this is combined data for past 24 hours, intercepted 12 HIMARS missiles. HIMARS, it's a US-made multiple launch rocket system that is used also for launch of ATACMS missiles, for example, without direct involvement of US militaries, US intelligence. It is impossible to use HIMARS systems, period, right? There is nothing to discuss there. So when I say these long-range attacks are orchestrated by NATO member states, US and UK first and foremost, that's factually accurate statement. Russian air defense systems also intercepted 2 long-range Neptune missiles that were launched by our enemies to strike Russia, and the overall number of long-range drones that were intercepted during the past 24 hours is 605. 605, by the way, significantly higher than Russia launch, for example, drones in a long-range precision strikes that happened in the same period of time, for example. And I think this is an important point to make because, I have said before, by the way, that we should all keep in mind when there is talks about attrition war, that we are engaged in a military conflict, not just with the Kyiv regime, but with the collective West, with whole of freaking NATO, with the exception of maybe 2 countries as of now, Hungary and Slovakia, that at least formally are not providing weapons to the Kyiv regime. But rest are actively engaged in this war against Russia, and also all the other countries that are controlled by this collective West, by Western ruling class. And I was saying, by the way, that we should always keep in mind that from economical, industrial production standpoint, at some point there is a high probability that in some segments of weaponry, NATO will catch up with Russian military-industrial complex, and I'm afraid that's exactly what had happened in regards to these long-range drones, because most of it, by the way, are produced by NATO member states, not by Kiev regime, but by NATO member states, and then are sent in a Kiev control territory, and they're in the parts, mostly in the parts, and are reassembled right before launch on a Kiev control territory already. So you see, this attrition campaign, in some sense, in some ways, definitely gives Russia upper hand, but longer this conflict continues, I'm afraid we will face situations when a Western military-industrial complex, combined West's military-industrial complex, will begin to catch up in other means of weaponry too, not just with the drones, but with other stuff too. And this is definitely something that we have to keep in mind, and hopefully Moscow pays attention to, Kremlin, and if so, I really hope that Kremlin will make a political decision to allow Russian militaries and security services to use whatever means are necessary to neutralize enemies, right? To neutralize military-industrial capabilities of their enemies, right? And to basically punish them for all the crimes that they committed against Russian people. And right now, as of this moment, by the way, 15 hours, 16 minutes, 16 past 3, basically, RIA Novosti is also reporting that another 3 drones were shut down by air defense systems while they were approaching Moscow. And clearly, it seems like globalists and their globalist control regimes in Europe and in NATO member states are planning to overwhelm Russian air defenses, especially around Moscow, and maybe they are planning some massive terrorist attack on Russian capital. Maybe, because I think we have not seen this focus on these long-range attacks on Moscow since the beginning of special military operation. Let's see, by the way, let's see. I'm quite sure Russian air defense systems, Russian military security services are doing best they can to protect their civilians, to protect their Russian territory. But yet again, we should all understand, and we do, of course, that no air defenses in the world, no air defense systems, even best one that Russia has, are able to intercept 100% of targets at 100% of their time. So I think something is being prepared, something massive being prepared by NATO member states when it comes to this terror campaign against Russia. And well, I don't know what that is, but hopefully we are ready. Hopefully we are ready. I don't know, man, but something is being prepared. Maybe NATO countries want to deplete capabilities of Russian air defenses around the capital, and then maybe they want to launch long-range missiles to strike all over their capital with Flamingo missiles that are British missiles, basically, or maybe with some other weapon systems. Or anything is possible. So, of course, we have to keep in mind on these risks. Let's continue with some other news. And well, even though Western world is escalating against Russia, and we are seeing this escalation on daily basis with these long-range attacks, with constant terror campaigns against civilians. Well, some elements in the West kind of are hysterical that current situation in the Middle East might divert attention or capabilities of their main force among Russian enemies, US, that is, from Ukrainian theater of operations, and well, they are kind of panicking. And Financial Times, for example, is reporting that negotiations on Ukraine are slowing down and could turn into catastrophe for Kiev, writes the Financial Times, citing European diplomats peace talks on Ukraine are fading as Trump's attention shifts to Iran. According to those sources, the war over Iran has diverted the US attention, putting their negotiation process in a dangerous zone. One of the EU diplomats called what's happening in a catastrophe for Europe and Ukraine. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what plans they had in Brussels or among globalist controlled regimes. Maybe they were actually dreaming about provoking direct war between NATO member states and Russia, and in a way that US would lead the charge. And now US is definitely busy with something else, right? Although they still provide their flight path targeting data intelligence information to Ukrainian terrorists, and we are seeing this on daily basis. But clearly, some elements of hysteria or something there, isn't it? Can be seen in this type of reports. And also, when it comes to these so-called negotiations that I didn't really ever believed in, these bilateral, trilateral talks and all that stuff. Well, allegedly, Trump, who is very busy making statements about everything, he's all over the place, isn't it, these days? And I guess during one of his interviews, he basically went after Zelensky, if that even means anything, really. And he said that he slammed Zelensky basically for rejecting peace plan, peace deal. Yet again, when it comes to this peace deal, what this peace deal is, what it looks like, nobody knows what they mean, right? These public figures that are either engaged in these trilateral or bilateral talks, or are making statements about it. What they mean by peace deal? Just like a week or 2 weeks ago, Foreign Minister of Russian Federation stated that Moscow didn't receive, neither through official means of communication, neither unofficially, any drafter document on which sides can actually work. So if there is not even a draft document in place about peace deal, then what Trump is talking about, what anybody else is talking about? That's a legit question, isn't it? But anyways, I guess Trump is mad at Zelensky, maybe because he is refusing to agree on the Russian demand that Turkey regime's forces should be withdrawn from DPR, for example. One of their points, right? Key demands from Russian side. Maybe this is their case. And I can give you a quote from Trump. I am surprised that Zelensky does not want to make a deal. Tell Zelensky to make a deal because Putin's willing to make a deal. Zelensky is far more difficult to make a deal with, according to Trump. Yet again, when he says that Putin is willing to make a deal, what that means, right? What deal he's talking about? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. I guess maybe Trump himself don't really understand what he's talking about. But there is some sense that maybe relationships between Washington and the Kiev regime are escalating again, and that can be said also about American ruling class and globalists, right? Especially now, because longer this war continues in the Middle East, in which US is definitely not in a best position, to say the least, and the higher the risk will be that Russia and other countries will provide more and more assistance to Iran, which will make US's position even more difficult. Then more and more tensions probably will be created between US ruling class and European ruling class, globalists, because everyone understands it's a globalist that don't want to see sustainable peace happening in regards to Ukrainian crisis. It's a globalists and globalist controlled regimes all over the European ruling class, by the way, right? European elites that still are dreaming about achieving strategical defeat of the Russian Federation and are all about prolongation of this war. All they ask for is some temporary measures to rearm, reorganize themselves and their proxies, and that's about it. They don't care about sustainable peace. They are okay with a break, but not with their actual peace, right? And so there is a clearly probability that we might see tensions increase between American special groups of interests and European special groups of interest, because in reality, we all understand Zelensky is a freaking nobody, and no one cares what he has to say or do or whatever, right? He can be replaced literally at any minute if Washington wants it and if London wants it. And he stays in a place right now just because there is still certain agreements between Washington and London on that. That's about it, right? So yes, tensions are rising between Washington and Europe, Washington and London, first of all, a leading capital when it comes to globalists, right? And will continue to do so. And also let me share with you again this information that I shared also yesterday, that Russian foreign ministry summoned British and French ambassadors following their missile attacks on Bryansk, as a result of which, according to Russian ambassador in UK, 8 civilians died, more than 40 were wounded. And during this attack, Storm Shadow Scalp PG missiles were used, and I guess that's why ambassadors of both countries were summoned there. This is a combined production. These cruise missiles are produced by both countries together, right? And of course, that attack was led and orchestrated by United Kingdom, no doubts about it. And Russian Foreign Ministry is demanding, allegedly, clear public response with the strong and unequivocal condemnation of the terrorist attack by Ukrainian armed forces. Okay, man, it makes no sense, really. Ukrainian armed forces, really? It's not the Ukrainian armed forces, it's British militaries and British secret services. So what you expect from London, really? To condemn what? Right? They can condemn Kiev regime all day, every day. They don't give a damn, man. Right? It's not British citizens that are being killed, right? Or wounded. It's Russian citizens. They simply don't care. They don't care as how long this war will continue, because they feel no freaking pain, man. And maybe really, man, it's sickening. It's sickening when I see these games being played by Russian officials. I mean, Peskov come out the other day and said that without direct involvement of British specialists, this kind of attack would not be possible. That happened on Bryansk. So if you say A, then see B also, right? So if you are saying that British militaries were involved, then stick on that position, right? And this should be clear for everybody, for the foreign ministry and for every freaking other institution here. This was not a Ukrainian armed forces attack. This was a British direct attack on Russian Federation. I'm sick and tired of this, man, right? But yes, ambassadors being summoned. I'm just highlighting this, by the way. Of course, there will be no condemnations from London or Paris. There will be nothing, literally. They don't care. They just simply don't care, right? They would not even pretend that they are sorry that civilians were killed and wounded. They would not even pretend, because that's where situation is, right? And they will continue to kill Russian citizens as long as they can do it with impunity. Period, man, right? If Moscow launched, let's say Oreshnik, by the way. Let's say Moscow launched Oreshnik on one of their key military bases of UK, right? Also on a factory that is engaged in production of these missiles, and also on intelligence headquarters of MI6. I'm quite sure London will behave differently after that. And there's going to be no freaking nuclear war because of these Russian retaliatory strikes. Trust me, there's going to be no freaking nuclear war and nuclear retaliation from UK, because if they even try to launch a missile, entire freaking island will turn into a radioactive desert. So they're not going to do shit about it, right? They are not even capable of launching missiles without US approval, you know? So let's not pretend that UK is some freaking power here. UK is a freaking nothing, man, garbage, right? Garbage. shame on humanity and should be dissolved, man. Let the English people live their own life. Let the Scots live their own life. Welsh people live their own life. What the fuck is this UK, man, even means? This terrorist freaking entity that kills people all around the world. How long this shit gonna continue, man? And let the Ireland reunite, man, with its own people. There is Northern Ireland that's still occupied by this freaking terrorist entity that UK is. Anyways, man. Anyways, I'm telling you, as long as we maintain this freaking nonsensical restraint policy, our citizens gonna be killed day and night by British regime, by French regime, German regime, American regime, and yeah, that's where we are, man. And if anybody says that Putin is a genius because I mean he's playing 4D chess and 5D chess, no, man, he's not a freaking genius. Never was, never will be, right? He was maybe a good president for Russia in the peace times, but during the war times, he's a terrible man, right? My personal opinion, maybe majority of citizens here would not agree with me, but during the war times, in my personal opinion, Putin is a freaking terrible leader for this country, man, right? We've been humiliated day in, day out by these nobodies, right? By UK, France, Germany, Italy, US, Canada. What the fuck, man? And we are enduring this shame for what, man? Strike back, man. Bring the pain to these motherfuckers, man, so that they will understand. You not mess around Russia, man. You just don't do this. Anyways, I went a little too emotional. Sorry for that, but I'm just really tired, man. And not just me. I don't know anybody here in Russia, by the way. Literally nobody that really understands what we are doing, right? Why we are behaving this way, man. Why we are tolerating so many acts of wars against Russia and crimes against Russian citizens. How many of Russian citizens gonna die, man, to react appropriately? And as I said, man, as long as we are maintaining this nonsensical restraint policies, Western ruling class globalists are going crazy. They are more and more emboldened, and more instances are when attacks being conducted on not just Russian civilian vessels, by the way, or vessels that are linked to Russia, but now very same UK, by the way, very same British intelligence and militaries are targeting Greek vessels that were planning to transfer not even Russian but Kazakhstani oil, right? That were transferred to Novorossiysk terminal of Caspian Pipeline Consortium from freaking Kazakhstan, man, right? And I mentioned this information yesterday during that walk and talk video. I can give you some details again. So Greek flagged oil tanker was attacked by a missile or a drone of the Russian Black Sea coast. Authorities in Athens have stated. This information is coming from Greece, by the way, right? Numerous ships carrying Russian oil and their liquefied natural gas have been targeted by suspected Ukrainian drones in a recent month. Yet again, this Russian so-called media refuses to say the truth as it is. It's not just Ukrainian, it's a NATO, it's a British, right? These NATO countries have a freaking name, and it's a British intelligence and militaries that are orchestrating these attacks. It's a US militaries and intelligence that are orchestrating these attacks. French, right? We have to say as it is, man. It's not correct when only Ukrainian armed forces, Ukrainian this, Ukrainian that, Kiev regime is and that. No, man. Kiev regime on its own is freaking nothing, right? Oh, блин. And the article continues this nonsense. Kiev has singled out Russian oil and gas infrastructure in the Black Sea and beyond as a priority targets. I mean, RT, whoever is their freaking editor-in-chief or whoever was responsible for this freaking article here, are you sure it's Kiev? Are you sure? Can you put your life on that it's a Kiev, not London? Because it's London. Kiev is freaking nothing. Kiev regime makes no freaking decisions on strategical issues, like attacking freaking Kazakhstani energy company, Caspian Pipeline Consortium, in which US companies have a main share. Who the fuck is Kiev, man? Or the Zelensky? RT is so fucked up, man. I mean, I'm telling you, man. And Russian media, MSM, is so fucked up. It's just beyond anything, man. It's maybe even worse than Western media, man. It's on the same level of being fucked up, truly, man. It's a shame what they are writing. Kiev has singled out Russian oil and gas infrastructure. Kiev, yeah, of course. It's all Zelensky that makes decisions about attacking freaking Kazakhstan, man. Of course. London has nothing to do with it. What the idiots, man. On Saturday, Greek Minister of Maritime Affairs, Vasilis Kikilas, revealed that the Maran Hauer with the 24 sailors on board has been struck not far from the Russian port of Novorossiysk earlier in the day. He relayed that the crew included 10 Greeks, 13 Filipinos, and a Romanian, none of whom suffered the injuries in the incident as quoted by the Greek media. According to the ministry, the oil tanker had left the port of Thessaloniki port before it was hit by a missile or a drone 14 nautical miles off the Russian coast. Maran Tankers Management Inc., which owns the vessel, said that the Maran Hauer was expected to enter the Caspian Pipeline Consortium's terminal, where it would receive a cargo of Kazakhstani crude oil. The attack only caused minor material damage to their deck and their deck equipment. Maritime Affairs Minister Kikilias described as unacceptable attacks on Greek-flagged and Greek-owned civilian ships, vowing to lodge the protest at the level of European Council. Yeah, of course, man. And so, yes, that's what happened, by the way. That's what happened. And of course, this is UK. This is British military, British intelligence, British ruling class, by the way, that is sending a message to US, not even to Moscow, by the way, not even to Astana, Kazakhstani capital, but to US ruling class, right? London is, globalists are so emboldened, and of course, London is a leading force when it comes to this globalist criminal gang. They are so emboldened that they are embarrassing US too. They are telling American groups of special interest to know their place and to kiss their feet of their British aristocracy, British elites, right? Otherwise, they can continue. They can eliminate US interests anywhere. So this is clearly a war between Washington and London. This is not. It's much bigger than some fucking animal in a Kiev, Zelensky or whomever is making calls or the decisions to know, what, let's go and attack this Greek vessel. No, it does not work that way. It's UK, by the way. It's globalists that are waging war against Russia, and at the same time they want to keep American ruling class in check. That's what is happening, right? And there are many, many other reasons on top of that why I think that we're going to see significant, actual, true rift or shift between US and Europe, right? Because this cannot continue much longer, by the way. At some point, US will have to respond and hammer down on Europe, man. They will have to. And they will. I have no doubts about it, because maybe globalists are thinking that they are a major force in this world, but in reality, in terms of actual force, Europe is freaking nothing. Paper tiger, right? Europe is a paper tiger. US still is a force to be reckoned with, maybe not as powerful as maybe in 70s or 80s, but still is a force, right? And I don't think these games that globalists are waging against US will play out well for them, right? We will see. And there was attacks on other vessels in the Black Sea. I mean, these attacks were organized with assistance of British, of course, intelligence and the militaries, but this time around, because it's a local scale situation, this is the case in which maybe the regime will have a say, maybe, but not in something of a geopolitical scale, right? That this attack on the Greek vessel was, for example, and on the Caspian pipeline consortium, in which the US, ExxonMobil, and their Shell, I believe Chevron, are major shareholders. So Ukrainian terrorists attacked 2 Russian vessels on the night of March 14. Ukraine's main intelligence directorate, terrorist organization, by the way, announced that they used the drones to attack 2 train ferries, their Slavianin and Avangard, calling them warships, which is crazy, isn't it? These are civilian vessels, but Kyiv regime, to justify this attack, called them warships. The vessels were used by Kerch ferry service. It's civilian transport, by the way. It's just, even though bridge is in place now and the bridge is operational, but these ferries still are operating. And some people might actually even prefer to use ferry because it's different experience, right? And that's what they attack, these terrorists, man, Ukrainian terrorists and mass murderers. Facilities at the Kavkaz port and the Krasnodar region were also attacked same night, according to reports. So you see, war continues, by the way. Western world continues to escalate with Russia. Yes, until we will react strongly. And look what Iran is doing, man. I mean, look what Iran is doing. They have no freaking, US is a nuclear powerhouse, right? There is talks that US might actually deploy nukes against Iran. Maybe Israel will do the same. But Iranians are giving fight, man. They are striking US assets all over the region, everywhere. They don't give a damn, man, how many nukes US has. It's an existential struggle for them, right? And they know what is necessary to do, right? Nor they are not exercising no freaking restraint policies. And for Russia, this is also existential struggle. That's where Putin is failing to understand the situation. This is existential struggle for Russian Federation. Western ruling class would not stop until they will either destroy Russia or they are destroyed. There is only 2 ways this thing's gonna end. Either we are fucking eliminating them or they will eliminate us. There is no golden middle here. So let's go and fucking kill them all, man, right? Let's kill entire freaking elites of the Europe, all of them, man, obliterate all of them, and you can do it. Just do it then, right? Demilitarize France, UK, kill their presidents, their prime ministers, kill them all, if necessary. That's what all their legit targets, right? Their militaries, political leadership, everybody, man. Look what US does. And they don't give a damn about anything. Look what Iranians are doing, man. They're freaking obliterating US bases all over the region. And we are still exercising restraint. And for somehow some people maybe being zombified so much so by freaking propaganda that they think this is a 5G chess, man, we are playing. Really? Tell this to those 8 people that were killed in Bryansk, that they die for Putin's 5G chess game. Tell this to family members of those people. And already from yesterday to this moment, how many? About 100 drones were intercepted by air defenses that were flying towards Moscow. Any of those drones, by the way, if were not intercepted, could fly down on the city and kill anybody, right? Maybe in this freaking window, drone will flow in now. No one is fucking safe here. And we are exercising restraint. This is a 5G chess, and anybody that says Putin is no genius has no freaking idea about anything. He is not a freaking genius, man. I'm sick and tired of this nonsense, right? If he cannot make decisions, who tell him that he have to be president of Russian Federation until he fucking dies, man? He don't have to stay in that office forever. Just have your rest, man. Go. I don't know, man. Resign. Let the other people lead the country that can actually make decisions, right? Fucking hell, man. Anyways, I'm quite sure very many people here in Russia are as frustrated as I am, man, because I don't fucking understand what's going on. And it seems like we're going to face even higher level of escalation from the NATO countries, from the globalists, from European NATO member states and their proxies, their pro-Ukrainian proxies. And God knows how many more people going to die, man, because of it, right? And none of it would happen. None of it would happen. That's what is killing me, man. None of it would happen if in the very first day, man, when we start this special military operation, we make it absolutely clear that even if single bullet will enter Kiev control territory from any fucking country in this world, we would turn that country into a radioactive desert. And this message was not sent, never sent, right? There were strong messages, we will do this, we will do that, and never action never came, and therefore, whenever there is some strong statements from Moscow nowadays, entire Western world is laughing, whole world is laughing basically, right? Because no one takes those warnings seriously. Even here in Russia, man, nothing to be said about our enemies. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Anyways, let's continue, by the way. It's just too bad, man. What is happening, really? It's just too bad. That's it. I mentioned yesterday also this Hungary stuff, right? Hungary's government stated that it's disclassifying national security report that PM Orban claims proves his main rival received illegal financing from Ukrainian regime. And this I mentioned this in yesterday's report, and this might actually be something of importance because we are talking about main rival of Orban that is being financed by Kiev regime. Just recently, there was a man, vehicle, by the way, was arrested in Hungary in which there was stacks of cash, right? And vehicle was linked to Ukraine, to Kiev regime, and no one was explaining what was going on. This cash is directed to whom, why this cash was there, and that kind of stuff, right? I saw a video of this, and Kiev regime was protesting about that vehicle was arrested and stuff. And so, yes, Budapest is taking some measures to save itself or to secure itself from Brussels and also Brussels proxy Kiev regime. And they are on offensive, kind of. They are trying to be on offensive, but they are playing too cautious. They are being too cautious, really, right? I think more needs to be done by Hungary's secret services. There is hundreds of thousands of Hungarians in Transcarpathia region. All you have to do is give them weapons, man. Should I picture what to be done? Hungarian special forces or secret services, give the weapons to ethnic Hungarians, man. Take, I don't know, 200-300 of them, 500 of them. Probably on your territory already thousands of Hungarians are living of military age, right? Talk to them, train them, give them a good training, weapons, and you can blow up entire Transcarpathia region, right? Entire Transcarpathia region. You can kill all those motherfucking Ukrainian fascists and the Nazis, man. So why you are messing around, Hungary? What the fuck? Are you waiting before these Nazis and the fascists will overthrow your government, Orban? That's what you want, really? Because you mess around long enough, and that's how it's gonna end, man. But anyways, let's see. Maybe this criminal that was taking money from Kiev regime will be arrested and prosecuted. Should be, for sure. And maybe patriots of Hungary, traditionalist conservatives that want to save their own country, will have a chance to actually do this. We will see. And what is also interesting, due to all this volatility on oil market, energy markets nowadays, even Macron, this extreme Russophobe, by the way, and scumbag, while having a meeting with Zelensky during the combined press conference, said that Druzhba oil pipeline should be reopened, should be restored. He did not say that pipeline is not damaged, but it's not damaged, man. Hungarian leadership already made it clear that pipeline is operational. It's Kiev regime that is blocking oil transfer from Russia to Hungary through Druzhba pipeline. And well, I guess these globalist controlled puppet regimes all over Europe are beginning to panic due to developments in the Middle East, because they know, man, price is gonna go up big, right? Price is gonna go up big, and even though globalists should be better prepared for this situation, because this is a plan, this is their plan, right? What is happening in Middle East? It's their plan, and they were preparing kind of, you see, that they took over their Venezuela. It's a part of this plan, of course, right? But just establishing control over the Venezuela is not enough. Infrastructure, oil infrastructure in Venezuela is decimated, right? According to some reports, due to Western sanctions, it will take a good decade before energy infrastructure will be in a position to actually work on the maximum capabilities when it comes to extracting oil, right? So therefore, these idiots among globalists, probably they were thinking, oh, we have Venezuela in our pocket now, we scare the hell out of Nigeria, so they will listen now to us, right? And if necessary, they will sell their oil to countries that we agree upon, right? To us. We are dealing with Angola, we are dealing with some other places, right? And now we blew up Middle East, and we're gonna cut off China from Middle Eastern energy and it's gonna be a huge blow for them. But we are good, right? We have Venezuela in the pocket, we have Nigeria, we have Angola, we have this and that. It didn't work like that, does it? And now they are beginning to panic. Now they clearly are beginning to panic. They are succeeding, sort of, at least partially, in Middle Eastern operation, because navigation is shut down, you see. That's what they actually want, navigation to be closed. They wanted full-scale regional war there on ethnic and sectarian lines, exactly because of that, to shut down navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait for many, many years to come, right? And partially, they are succeeding in that. Navigation is mostly shut down. But first and foremost, they failed to provoke regional war, at least as of now. And secondly, they were unable to minimize impact on the Western economies. They were absolutely unprepared, by the way. This is mind-boggling. These freaking idiots are most powerful people on this planet. But I guess out of, they were committing crimes and they were doing anything they want for so long and with absolute impunity that I guess they lost consciousness, right? Consciousness to, and they are making massive mistakes in their calculations. And now, you see, they are panicking all over their Europe, and their French president said during their combined press conference with Zelensky that yes, this pipeline has to be restored and oil flow has to restarted, and not just that, but number of officials in Europe publicly calling for a resumption of the cooperation with Russia in oil and gas sectors, right? Which hopefully will not happen. Under the current leadership of Russia, I don't know, man. Maybe they will embrace European elites again, right? And agree to cooperate in energy field, even though just a few years ago, those very European elites put a knife in the back of Russia, right? But yes, Russian elites are quite specific elements. They have some quite specific, historically speaking, like they're quite specific fixation on Western elites, right? And they are kind of seeking approval of the Western elites constantly, right? Oh, Western elites, we are like you, we are like, recognize us, let's be friends. No, man, Western elites are fucking filth, man. They are nowhere near to be Like, I would not fucking shake hands with them, man. They are nowhere near to me as a humans. They are not even fucking humans, man. So what the fuck is wrong with these elites that are fixated on that filth, that are seeking their approval or something? It's insane, man. It's so freaking embarrassing. Anyways, Europe is fucked up, one way or another, right? Even if Putin tomorrow says, you know what, let's send everything we have to Europe. Let's help our European colleagues there, right? Partners. Yeah, Russian elites were loving to say, even though European elites were killing Russian citizens left and right for quite a long time, Russian president and all the others were using this kind of language. Our partners. Who is your freaking partner, man? They are killing your people. They are enemies. So use right language. Anyways, let's go through some Middle Eastern stuff right now, isn't it? And reports are, according to Vzgled, that U.S. has rejected the Arab monarchies' plan for a ceasefire in the Middle East. U.S. rejected, really? This must be some Western propaganda outlet that this news is originated from, and it is Reuters, of course. So Donald Trump administration has rejected the ceasefire proposal from Arab monarchies despite Oman's attempts to establish dialogue. Reuters reports U.S. did not reject nothing. Washington White House is desperate for a ceasefire. They understand that they are fucked up, man. They are in a deep shit now, right? Maybe they were thinking that, well, this Iran, man, what they know, nothing, right? We just go in, kill everybody in the leadership, and it's gonna collapse, and people gonna start killing each other on ethnic and sectarian lines, and that's it, and we won, right? Then we will spread all this chaos throughout the region, and it's all good for 5 days, 1 week, and mission accomplished. Well, it did not happen like that, isn't it? Iranian people, if anything, are demonstrating literally on daily basis that they are united. They are united, and different ethnic groups, by the way, different ethnic groups are demonstrating every single day to show everybody, whole world, that no one gonna manage to provoke a war between these different ethnicities in Iran, because they are part of a great civilization. They are part of great civilization. Maybe, not maybe, Trump has no freaking idea what being a part of a great civilization means, because he does not represent no freaking civilization. What he represents, man? Orangutan species from apes, maybe, I don't know, but orangutans as of now did not really make it to civilization, although they've been treated as one of the most clever freaking apes out there, right? And that's it, really. Iran is thousands and thousands of year old civilization, man, and you cannot imagine how Iranians feel about it, that they are part of this tremendous heritage. And I was saying before US and Israel launched this war on Iran that it's not going to be easy to provoke civil war between their ethnic groups inside the country, especially between major ethnic groups, Persians and Azerbaijanis, because both people are basically nation builders. Both play tremendous role in preserving and prolonging this unique life of this unique civilization. And they are failing. I mean, Western ruling class is failing big time as of now, man. And I'm afraid there's a last result. They're gonna actually use nuclear weapons, and well, I don't know, man. I don't know. If I was Russian president, I know what I will do. But as you can see, I'm nobody, and Russian president is a figure who plays like 5D cheese or something that no one fucking understands. Yeah, therefore, I don't know what will happen if US and Israel actually go ahead with deployment of nukes. But yeah, even then, they might fail to succeed, man, because what they're gonna do, nuke every city in Iran? What they gonna do, man? Nuke every city in Iran? You tell me, man. They are actively destroying infrastructure all over the country, trying at least, right? They are after not just governmental institutions in Tehran, but throughout Iran, right? But they are failing, man. They are failing to descend country into chaos. And even if they went ahead with deploying nukes, tactical nukes, let's say, I mean, what they're gonna bomb? Tehran? They're not gonna bomb Tehran, man. I mean, maybe they are insane and genocidal maniacs, but will they bomb Tehran, man? City of 9 million people? I mean, I don't know. That will probably, if they do that, I mean, Israelis will be okay with it. I mean, vast majority of Israelis are freaking fascists, right? So they will be good with that, you know. They don't care. They are all in support of, 78% of Israelis are in support of everything that their IDF done to Palestinians, and that's a genocide. So they are genocidal freaking maniacs, right? So Israelis, majority of Israelis will be okay with their using nukes even against cities in Iran, Tehran and I don't know, Isfahan and others. But I'm not sure about Americans about it, man. I want to believe that majority in America, in US, are decent human beings that are not in support of genocide, right? Maybe they don't care about foreign policies that much and stuff, but when they will learn that they just killed taking millions of people, dropping nukes, oh, they you know, that might be a wake-up call, man. That US did not survive, actually. If nukes are used against Iran, Iran might survive and will survive. I'm not sure about US though. And Israel definitely will be down because at that point, all of Middle East, man, all of Middle East will go after Israel, right? And Israel going to be erased from the political map. So nuclear weapons, maybe Western ruling class, globalist Zionists, US ruling class, maybe they're considering nukes as a last option. But if they deploy nukes, there is a high probability, there will be high probability in that case that neither Israel, neither US will survive eventually, right? And when it comes to this report, this is pure propaganda on behalf of Western world. US rejected their peace offer, really. US is begging for a ceasefire, man. US leadership is begging for a ceasefire, begging for mercy now, Iranians, right? And Iranians are saying, no, thanks, no. Now you're going to pay compensation for everything you did, and we need 100% guarantees that there are going to be no more attacks on Iran in the future. And these guarantees cannot be provided by US itself, right? Because no one believes US, with the exception of Russian president, of course. But no one else in this world believes US leadership and that some successful talks can be done with them, right? And Iran definitely does not takes nothing from US seriously, and so only way Tehran might agree on a ceasefire is yet again all US bases going to be withdrawn from the Middle East, compensations for everything that was done to Iran, and we are talking about hundreds of billions of dollars at this point, right? And guarantees, security guarantees. And these security guarantees can be provided only if Russia and China is involved, right? And possibly some regional countries too, but Iran will need their nuclear umbrella, for sure, to agree on any de-escalation. And meanwhile, Trump is saying that military operation against Iran are to last as long as they're necessary, as long as it takes, you know, this talking point of enemies of Russia, that they are in support of Ukrainian Nazis as long as it takes. Okay, be in support, motherfuckers. Fucking filthy animals, man. And now US president is trying to act tough. I'm not even going to go into details. Her headline says it all. This animal is delusional, right? This animal is totally delusional, has no freaking idea what's going on. I mean, Trump. And his administration too, by the way. Entire world is laughing at her pet Hexet, isn't it? Entire world is laughing at her, not just Trump, but pet Hexet, man. What that clown is doing. What that freaking clown is doing, man. I'm going to show you. Yesterday, I kind of spoke about this, that he went during his press conference to say that Iranian leadership is hiding underground and they are cowards and this and that. And very same moment as he was saying this shit, you know what Iranian leadership was doing? This is Ali Larijani, Iranian Security Council Secretary. He was on the streets of Tehran. There were videos, by the way. I shared videos on my Telegram channel and Twitter X page. Go and check it, right? He was on the streets with the people, right? You know who this guy is? This simply dressed guy? This is the president of Iran, Pezeshkian, man. He was walking around streets, shaking hands. I have a video on my Telegram channel. Go and see it, man. What about this guy? Abbas Araghchi, foreign minister of Iran. Just walking on the street, with very little security detail, if any, right? That's what's going on. That's how delusional these fucking animals are, man, that are in charge of the Western world, including US. Hexet was bragging about, they are hiding in the bunkers. No, man, they are not hiding. These are Shiites. For Shiites, being martyr is the highest honor, by the way, in Shiite religion. Being a martyr is the highest honor that human can get. These people, most definitely, by the way, they already find peace with their idea that they're gonna die. These people are okay with that. Until they are alive, by the way, they will do whatever they can. They will make sure that there is 5, 7, 10 successors in a row, right? And no matter how many people will be killed on their position, Iran will continue to live, continue to fight, and will defeat enemy. That's what these people are, man, about. These are, I'm saying, man, these are descendants of great civilization. If you expect that these people gonna kneel to freaking US or anybody, then, I mean, sorry, man, but you've been wrong. These people not gonna kneel to nobody. And yet again, if exactly at that point, US or Israel dropped a bomb and killed all the civilians and there are these public figures too, Larijani or Pezeshkian or Abbas Araghchi or whomever, and all the other officials are doing the same, by the way, right? They will be replaced immediately by other figures, right? And these people who would die will leave this world happy, right? Not because they want to die, but because they had their greatest honor they can get, they become martyrs. But Hexet is a freaking illiterate criminal animal that have not read a single book in his life. So do you expect this freaking monkey to understand anything? A rabid animal, really? I mean, it's a shame, by the way. I mean, shame that the US country that sometime in the past, by the way, by many people worldwide, actually was seen as a example, or in many areas at least, right? Not by me, by the way. I never consider US to be a great country. It's exactly the opposite, right? But there are many people worldwide that were considering US to be this leading country in many fields, and those people probably are ashamed that that's the level of degeneration of the US now. And I wonder if either Fox News or MSNBC, it has a different name now, isn't it? Or CNN or any other propaganda outlet in the West challenged this animal Hexet and tell that, well, while he was claiming that Iranian leadership is hiding, those people are actually walking together with their fellow citizens on the streets of Tehran and other cities, right, in Iran, and demonstrating resilience, courage. And let's continue with some other news. And so, yes, this fucking Trump, man, refused to, agree on a peace ceasefire, and says that war will continue as long as it takes. War will continue as long as Iran will say it's going to continue. Initiative is in hands of Iran now. Initiative is not in hands of US, right? So this war will continue until Iran will say, yeah, that's enough. Simple as that. And I guess little by little, but at least some think tanks in US beginning to understand that they lost initiative, and probably they recommended now US administration to begin deploying military assets, because collective Western and collective West puppet regimes, including US, they failed to provoke civil war in Iran. They failed to provoke a war between neighboring countries, between Gulf monarchies and Iran, right? They failed in that. They tried false flag operations. They probably in private talks, they threatened Gulf monarchies leadership there that they will lose all the assets in the Western world if they did not launch a war against Iran. But probably, Riyadh and Doha and all the other capitals there said, no, we're not going to launch a war against Iran. And then now, what options do the Western world has to deploy their own troops, right? And they are beginning, by the way. They are beginning. Reports are that Marine Corps already been sent there. So U.S. command is sending additional Marine units and warships to the Middle East due to increased Iranian attacks near the Strait of Hormuz. The Wall Street Journal reports. But basically, there are different accounts on Western media. Some media outlets are saying that 5,000 Marines being dispatched. There are some other reports that 2,200 Marines were dispatched. We don't know. We don't know exact number, but already ground forces being sent by Pentagon towards the Middle East. My personal understanding is that Americans might try to conduct a landing operation, probably on Khark Island, and that's why they bombed this island, right? I think they want to establish control over the Khark Island, and maybe, by the way, U.S. militaries will try to establish control over the coastal line of Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz. Maybe they will try to establish control over their coastal line here, right? That's a possibility. They're gonna fail, I think. They're gonna fail, but they will try anyways. Man. They failed, man, to provoke war between Saudi Arabia and Iran, Qatar, Iran, Kuwait, and Iran, even Bahrain. Even Bahrain restrained, right, from attacking Iran. And at some point, under the British pressure, Azerbaijan began escalating with Iran, but then Turkey and Moscow get involved there, and now things are kind of calm between the two. And the Kurdish forces in Iraqi Kurdistan make it clear that they're not going to fight this war for America, because they are okay. They are doing just fine, right? They don't need no freaking war with Iran. And one should keep in mind, by the way, that majority of Iraqi Kurds are Sunnis, I believe that's the case. When it comes to Iran, situation is different. Majority are Shiites, and majority Kurds will never agree to be part of a war against Shiite Iran. there is so many nuances in the place right there, isn't it? So yeah, ground forces being directed, but I don't know, man. Don't you think that Western world already lost this war? I think they lost, man. And but again, even if they deploy nukes, man, most likely Iran will survive, and Israel and US not. That's what I think. What else have I bookmarked, by the way? Well, RGC claimed that 51st wave of their retaliatory strikes targeted Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, where U.S. Air refueling tankers, AWACS planes, F-35s, and F-16 fighter jets were located or stationed. Well, hopefully, attack was successful, and all those planes were destroyed, or at least some of them were destroyed. No details being provided, but yeah, base was attacked. Good, good. What I can say, man. And right now, I'm gonna share with you these pictures. By the way, this is satellite pictures before and after. On the left side, this is a U.S. base where U.S. had air defense missile defense system was located, and this is in Emiratis, right? This is in UAE. So this is the left picture. You see this building that was housing some stuff, and this is after it's been struck. This is a bigger picture. You see this building here, this one, and this one, some major constructions, and look at this picture, eliminated, right? All of them being struck. Look at this picture here. Clearly, all major facilities on this base were struck. And watch each other system costs like over billion, right? So it's serious stuff, man. And also when it comes to these retaliatory strikes on U.S. military assets, I'm gonna show you a video, man. I'm gonna show you a video, and many of you, of course, will be familiar with this type of videos because you have seen this type of videos from a zone of special military operation. Oh, I forgot this comments to be visible on a screen. Okay, I'll do it now. And this is the video, by the way. This is the video. Look at it. Drones are flying all over the US base. Yeah. I wonder, is this a wire-guided drone? Because quality is just too good, man. Either this is a wire-guided drone that cannot be suppressed by your typical radio-electronic warfare system, or there is no radio-electronic warfare systems stationed in that military base. Look. They are flying like it's, it's their backyard. So what the hell, man? Don't they have even at least simple some radio-electronic warfare system on the bases? Nothing? So yeah, FPV drones are going in. And on this video, by the way, clearly whoever was operating with FPV drone knew what he or she was doing, right? And who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe maybe some people that had experience in zone of special military operation and lost their comrades due to involvement of the US and other NATO member states. Maybe those people, either from Wagner PMC or maybe former soldiers or militaries of the Russian armed forces, maybe they just took off, went there to help Iran and to revenge their brothers, man, in arms. Because, someone, whoever was flying that drone knew what he was doing, man. Confidence was there, right? Experience, and confidence comes with experience. And quality of picture is so good that either those bases are left without any radio electronic warfare, or it was a wire guided drone. Anyway, it's interesting, isn't it, that FPV drones are also beginning to come to scenery there. But it is might be the case that Iranian militaries, based on experience, based on what they see in during this proxy war that West is waging against Russia, prepare their military staff in terms of operating with their FPV drones. Maybe they asked Russian side to provide some additional knowledge on that, right? I see Alexander G is commenting. It was not fiber optics, that was a radio controlled FPV drone. Maybe, quality is so good that if it was radio controlled, then that means there was no radio electronic warfare systems on those bases, right? Even like simplest one will create some disturbances in the frequencies, right? But picture is clear. That means there was no interaction with their communication. Anyways, I said, man, initiative is in Iranian hands now. Initiative is in Iranian hands, and it's up to them now to decide. They are in control of this escalation, right? It's up to Iranians now to decide what's gonna happen next. US might go ahead with their amphibious operation to annex Hark Island. They might even declare victory after that, right? But no one would care because Iranians will continue to eliminate any US assets in the region, not just military, but economical, right? So until Iranians will say it's done, nothing is done, right? And dear friends, there was a reports that during one of the Iranian strikes, allegedly another 5 air refueling tankers were damaged and destroyed in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, and even Trump reacted on this information that was shared by Western media, including Wall Street Journal, and Trump claimed that none of this happened, none of the planes were damaged or something, right? He was trying to, reject these claims, but his reaction was so hysterical that after reading his post, I actually start believing that, yeah, probably this is true, man. And there was a successful strike on one of the military bases, US military bases in Saudi Arabia. Maybe not 5, but 3 planes were damaged. That's a significant hit anyways, right? So, yes, there is that. And of course, dear friends, that a US embassy was targeted in Baghdad. And I think that's just the beginning. That US embassy in Baghdad gonna be like totally decimated because whoever targeted that place knew what he was doing, because radar station of Searam air defense system was neutralized, and that means that this Searam stuff is useless now, because without radar, you cannot see targets, right, where to fire. And after Serum is disabled, well, even FPV drones on wire guided FPV drones might go in and begin hunting down U.S. militaries that are in on the perimeter of this embassy, and they might cause some havoc there. Better U.S. evacuate all of its staff, all of its citizens from Iraq, man, all of them, militaries, civilians, everybody should be evacuated from entire Middle East. And this is one of the demands of Tehran. That talks might happen, but only when there is an understanding that U.S. bases are removed from the region or going to be removed from the region. U.S. going to pay compensations for everything. And there are a number of other demands. Iran, of course, wants to maintain full cycle of enrichment of uranium and many other things, right? And they are in the ruling in riding seat now. They are in charge. And of course, this topic, by the way, this topic of what they say, Russian involvement in this war that U.S. and Israel launched against Iran. Western propaganda, globalists controlled media, their allies in the U.S., they are pushing hard, right, on this matter, that Russia is providing targeted data for the Iranians, and I personally see no issue with that. I think Russian president did not really actually authorize anything like that. I don't think he gave direct order to Russian militaries or intelligence to share information with Iran or something. He don't even have to do this, actually, right? Because after all, Russia and Iran are strategical partners, right? And there is a literally daily communication between different state institutions of the two countries. It's a strategical partnership. We are not military allies, right? According to reports, Iran, by the way, I mean, which is crazy, but yes, Iran rejected initiative to agree on a mutual protection act with Russia. That will provide Iran with a freaking nuclear umbrella. Nothing to be said about anything else or everything else, right? But Iranian leadership refused to agree on that, probably because they were still hoping that they can do business with the Western elites. They can find the ways to build the bridges and find the common ground. Yeah, it did not work out well, isn't it? Huh? And yeah, hopefully, man, Russian president will don't wait until we will find out hard way that negotiations with US under the current circumstances in these particular times is a bad idea, because they are not negotiating. They are just they are weaponizing diplomacy, right? To mislead you, to cut you off guard and stuff, or anything, right? But not to diplomacy. So hopefully Russian leadership will begin distancing itself from US, right? As much as possible, US leadership. But yes, Iran was making similar mistake. They were hoping that they're gonna build some ties with the West. Yeah, they did build the ties, of course. And nevertheless, there is now big push, right, on this with this topic that Russia is assisting Iran and this and that, and what they expect, man. Trump already been asked several times about this stuff that Russia is assisting and what you're gonna do about it, and I mean, what he gonna do about it, man? Really, whenever these so-called journalists are asking Trump this question, or whenever these globalists are pushing this narrative, what is their expectation? What Trump gonna do? Drop nuclear bombs on Russia or what? I mean, why they are still pushing this topic? US is already engaged in this war against Russia. They are sending whatever weapons they can send. They are sharing intelligence. God knows how many US intelligence officers and military staff was killed already. Hundreds. At this point, probably hundreds, right? As it is the case in regards to UK, in regards to France, right? So what else they gonna do, man? There are some people, that think that, well, US has like 5,000 Abrams tanks or something in the desert, they can send it. Send it, man. Those tanks are gonna just stuck in one place in a freaking warehouse somewhere in the forest in the western Ukraine and never gonna leave that place because it's a too freaking heavy, man. US did not send hundreds of Abrams tanks to Kiev regime, not because they don't want higher involvement in this war. No, because Abrams tank is a freaking garbage, man. Right? It's a garbage. Just because Hollywood paint the picture that Abrams tank is such a formidable force, blah blah blah, it does not mean that it's a good, man. It's not good. It's garbage, right? It produces such a tremendous heat, by the way, due to its engines, that Russian heat-seeking missiles, Russian militaries can detect it freaking kilometers and kilometers away, man. Right? It has a power freaking fighter jets engine is placed in Abrams tank, isn't it? That's one issue. It consumes a tremendous volume of fuel, by the way, because you can imagine it's a freaking fighter jet's engine inside, right? So it consumes tremendous volume of fuel. That's another big issue, right? It's a freaking heavy tank, man. It's a heavy tank, very heavy tank, 70 tons, around 70 tons. On a Kiev controlled territory in Ukraine, by the way, I mean, you might struggle to find the bridges that be able to withstand the movement of the column of these freaking tanks, especially in the rural areas, by the way. There are no freaking bridges that can withstand this weight. And all over the Ukraine, there is, and you have seen videos, isn't it? In the zone of special military operation. Every 200, 300 meters, there is a little river and a little bridge that you can cross. If you don't use bridge, then you have to bring pontoon bridge, right, with you. And there is that many pontoon bridges that West can provide, right? You cannot move each pontoon bridge with each freaking Abrams. It's a useless tank, man. Useless, right? Same can be said about British Challengers. Same garbage, man. Different look, but same garbage. Extremely heavy, non-reliable garbage. And that's why you don't see Challenger tanks on the line of contact that often. Whenever some were sent, they were burned down immediately, right? And so, yes, I wonder what the expectation is when they are pushing this narrative that Russia is assisting Iran. I mean, hopefully we do, man. Hopefully we do assist Iran, and we will revenge blood of our soldiers and our civilians that were killed because of their U.S. militaries, U.S. intelligence involvement in this war, and U.S. political leadership is involvement in this war against Russia that West is waging. So I'm all in support of killing as many U.S. militaries as possible, man. And vast majority of community here in Russia will be on the same page. Let's fucking kill them all, man. Why not? They are enemies of ours, right? We did not choose this war. We did not wanted this war to happen, but U.S. is our enemy. They are engaged against us. They are killing our citizens. So it is only natural that we want to revenge, right? To kill them all. And so hopefully we are assisting Iran with freaking everything, man. Let's send them not just intelligence, but drones, missiles, I don't know, man. Anything and everything, right? Let's help them build freaking nuclear bomb if necessary, because that's what West is doing in regards to Kiev regime, and we already being blackmailed, isn't it? That Kiev regime might develop nuclear weapon and stuff. Really? We can turn the table now. And we can go after Washington. You know what? We got intelligence that Iran not just build a nuclear weapon, but already deployed like a few dozen of them on your territory in US. 2 of them are in New York. Just to share this information, by the way, just to make this kind of information public. Let's say some media outlet writes about it. Can you imagine what's going to happen in US, man? Can you imagine that? Just imagine for a second. It's gonna be mayhem, right? So we can do some stuff, actually. We can do some stuff, and we should do some stuff, for sure. I'm not saying that, we should give the nukes to anybody. No, man, fuck that. We should try as much as we can to maintain non-proliferation treaty in place, right? We don't need no more countries with nuclear weapons. That's for sure. But there is other means to assist Iran. Hopefully we do. But what I don't understand, what this globalists and globalist controlled media is expecting, right? What is their expectation when they are asking Trump, Russia is involved. Okay, yeah, Russia is involved. Maybe yet again. I mean, we don't know. But even if Russia is involved, then so what? Right? And Trump's position is kind of exactly similar, because what they're going to do about it? What? Send more what? Javelin missiles? Okay. They already sent like thousands. Ukraine is reselling those Javelin missiles, by the way. On black market, if you have enough money, you can just spend little time. You can buy Javelin missile from Ukraine if you want to. So they're going to send Abrams tanks? Okay. Anyways, I'm going to give you a short video of Trump's reaction. That's the video. It's a sound bite, by the way, when Trump is reacting on this topic.
Helping him?
I think he might be helping him a little bit. Yeah, I guess. And he probably thinks we're helping Ukraine, right?
And you are, right?
Yeah, we're helping him also. And so he says that. And China would say the same thing. It's like, hey, they do it and we do it, in all fairness. They do it and we do it.
So, dear friends, there was a super chats. There was a super chats writer during the stream, and let me make copies of these super chats now. It takes a minute, right? But you see the reaction of Trump, and as of now, I mean, that's best they can actually come up with, because what else? He can try and, say some stronger words, try to intimidate Russia. Oh, we're gonna retaliate. We're gonna send more this and more that. But in reality, sorry, but no. Just a sec, dear friends. There was on Rumble. There was what's going on, man? I guess this notebook will soon also go down. Unbelievable, man. What the hell? Does not react. So I will continue in a second, dear friends. I'm just making screenshots of super chats on Rumble, and also there was a member of our community, Viper, give a gift of premium subscription to a member there, and thank you very much, Scooby, for your super chats. Thank you very much, Viper, for giving the gift of a premium subscription, which is basically $5 donation to the project. And there are many thanks to the Modus Qatar for super chat and $5 donation. I will highlight all of it, dear friends, in right now. Actually, right now, I guess I spoke enough, by the way, about this news stuff. We can I think launch a new segment of this program. There is, of course, quite a lot of news that I have left. This is always the case, by the way. I always have a lot of news, right? But after all, this is a community chat too. It's not just a news update, but community chat. And so, therefore, let me let me begin with highlighting these super chats from Rumble, and this is the first super chat from Scooby. And once I go through super chat, dear friends, sir, I will scroll in the chat. If there is a more super chat, or if there is a questions or the comments, either through Boosty or PayPal, of course, I will react on it. And and there was a I just checked, by the way, there was a on the Boosty there was a donation. There was donation from Alexander G. Thank you very much, Alexander, for a $10 donation on a Boosty. I will make screenshot now and will highlight this too, because there is a comment also. Doge, Doge, just a sec. I think I managed it. Sorry, dear friends, but you know, when you're working alone, sometimes sometimes Anna is here and she's helping me, but when she's not here. Yes. Anyways, let's go through some super chat now. It did not work. Okay, by the way, okay, I will deal with it in a minute. Thank you very much, Scooby, for your super chat and Scooby's and total donation. And Scooby's commenting: do you really think the West would risk bringing China and Russia closer economically and politically as means of destroying them? I think they just made a mistake. Well, in my reading of the, you are referring to, I guess, my reading of the big picture in regards to the strategy that Western is deploying to bring down both China and Russia while provoking war between them. And well, this is a strategy that they used many times before. Uh, they use this kind of strategy before when they are kind of cornering with different means throughout the years of intentional policies, cornering, for example, certain country and forcing it to take certain uh, predictable steps. And this was done, by the way, by Japan. Or in regards to Japan, for example, before Tokyo launched its military attack on US on Pearl Harbor, they cornered Japan, right? They cut off their energy supplies. They cut off Japan financially too. And they basically created a situation when Tokyo was thinking that, if they did not go ahead with their with military operation, did not secure closest, let's say, areas of resources, they were finished. And they launched a war. They launched a war in which they had very little chances, and I believe quite a few admirals of Japanese Navy, Imperial Navy, were actually advising not to attack US. They were thinking that that was suicidal, right? But decision was made, and and I think Western ruling class wants to deploy somewhat similar tactics against China. And to counter China, they want to cut off it from Middle Eastern energy sources first, which will automatically, by the way, you don't really have to do anything after that point to force China to increase its dependence on Russian energy, because what else they gonna do, man? Where are they gonna buy oil and their gas, for example? Oil. We are talking about oil for now, first and foremost. If they are losing, if Western ruling class was successful, and they were and they managed to destabilize whole Middle East, shut down navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait, what Japan gonna do? Oh, sorry, what China gonna do? They were ultimately increases their dependence on Russia, and I know, everybody knows that at some point this dependence will reach critical level. We also know that plenty of, unfortunately, US, UK, Western intelligence services, basically, they have a lot of assets in both countries, in Russia and China. I have no doubts about it, by the way. I mean, can you imagine Russian president, current president, by the way, Vladimir Putin, has said publicly that during the Yeltsin's reign, when Yeltsin was the president, Langley's representatives were almost in every ministry of the Russian Federation. They were ruling Russia, by the way, during the Yeltsin, practically directly. So can you imagine how many assets they managed to recruit during that time, and after that too, but during that time, how many assets they recruit on Russian territory, right? That are like a splinter cell. They are waiting for orders. This is a fifth column we are talking about, right? So they have a fifth column in Russia. They have a fifth column in China. I have no doubts about it. China is a tremendously corrupt country. We all know that, right? And spy services, intelligence services are thriving in a corrupt environment, right? Because they have numerous opportunities to recruit different elements through blackmail due to their corruption, right? And so West has their fifth columns, and they're at point when when China will be dependent on Russia in terms of energy supplies up to a critical level, it will not make too difficult for the West to use these fifth columns, create tension between the two countries, create a fear in Chinese leadership that Russia is about to turn its back on them, right? And what Beijing will do in that case. You will, force basically, you will put China in a situation when Beijing will think, the only way forward is to go ahead with the military operation to secure closest energy fields. And it happened that these closest energy fields are in Russia, in Kazakhstan, former Soviet Republic, but mainly in Russia, of course. It's simple, I think. It's a strategy that is easily readable, really, I think. And I believe my understanding of big picture is correct, because how else I could be correct on so many predictions, including about Middle East? Only if my big reading of the big picture is correct, and Middle East is only like part of this bigger picture, right? Anyways, thank you very much, Scooby, for this super chat. And there was also another super chat from Scooby. But as I said, dear friends, there was also this gifter of the premium subscription from Viper, to a member of our community. Thank you very much, Viper, for this gift and the $5 donation to this project. Thank you. And also, let me highlight another. Let me highlight another super chat from Scooby. Do you think Russia will stop gaining territory once NATO has the logistics and the capability to keep up in arms manufacture? Well, my belief is that at some point, my belief is that this war can only end when Russian troops reach borders of the Western Ukraine. Anything from now to that point will be just a temporary measure. So direct answer to this question is no. I don't believe Russia will stop gaining territories, no matter what. No matter what. And this proxy war that West is waging against the Russian Federation will truly end only when Russian troops will be on the borders of the Western Ukraine. There is no other way around it, right? There is no other way around. That's how it's going to be, but it will become even more costly, probably. Longer this conflict continues, of course, Western economies, Western military industrial complex will do whatever they can to catch up with their production of their all sorts of weaponry, right? Not just drones, but artillery shells, artillery systems, and so on and so on, right? We can continue. And therefore, this fight will become even more costly. And I remind you, dear friends, that, according to many reports I have seen, Kyiv regime still can mobilize like another million people if they want to, at least, forcefully. They can just snap the people from their homes, right, and throw into trenches. So they don't really have that much of a manpower issue as of now, right? They still have hundreds of thousands of people under the guns, right? And as long as they have money to finance this war, as long as they have weapons, they will continue. They will continue. So longer this conflict continues, it will be more costly for everybody. But eventually, we will reach borders of the Western Ukraine anyways, right? Because this is the only way this war can end, war itself, right? Although we might have a, before now and the time when our troops are out there uh, on the borders with the Western Ukraine, there might be several ceasefires in place, some other agreements, Minsk 3, Minsk 4, whatever, you name it, right? But these temporary measures will it's temporary measures, right? And Russian leadership itself was very clear, at least until recently, that they are against temporary measures. Now Trump is saying that Russian president wants to have an agreement. It's Zelensky that does not want, and it is anybody's guess what Trump is talking about. What agreement? I mean, what's going on, right? We just don't have information. It's about cost, really. Russia gonna win this war anyways, right? I don't think anybody has any doubts here in Russia that we're gonna defeat Western ruling class, and we all understand that this is not a war between Russia and Ukraine. This is war between collective West and Russia, and we know we're gonna defeat them, right? But longer this conflict continues, more costly it will be. That's how it is. So territorial gains gonna continue, for sure. There was also, thank you very much, Scooby, for that super chat, and there was another one, also. Scooby is also commenting that many years ago, Putin would have had the Russian elite merge with the global elite. How can he be trusted now, given he's essentially just opposition to them because they did not want him? Yes, I mean, Putin wanted to be part of this globalist agenda. I mean, globalization, and he was participating in many ways in many different programs, right? He was initiating this idea and pushing for an idea of creating this unified economical space from Lisbon to Vladivostok, and I think he had he had good intentions, right? He had good intentions. Probably he truly believed that he would be taken seriously by Western elites, and with respect. And he soon find out. He just find out on the spot that he was mistaken. I don't know why he ever believed that Western elites will have any respect either for him or for Russia or anybody from Russia. Or, I mean, why he was thinking that Western elites are even capable of being respectful towards anybody. That's a whole different topic. But probably he was thinking that, yes, I mean, he wants no harm for the Western countries. He wants cooperation, economical, this and that. When 9/11 happened, by the way, Russia was the first country, I believe, who called her. He was the first president who called her Bush, actually, right? Am I correct? And issue condolences to their all the relatives and the close ones to the innocent people that died in that terrorist attack that was orchestrated by US itself, right? US intelligence services, by Israel, MI6, and they used their freaking puppets like bin Laden and the rest of the garbage to accomplish it. But nevertheless, Russian president was first to issue the condolences, right? Russia allocated its own freaking military base in Ulyanov, by the way. In Ulyanov, in heart of Russia, right? He allocated base to assist US and NATO in terms of logistics to fight this Al-Qaeda scumbags, right? And the rest of the garbage. But yet again, he wasn't, I mean, he wanted he was driven by good intentions, let me say this way, right? But yeah, he eventually find out that No, man. Western elites are not capable of uh, Western elites are not capable of respecting anybody, right? And in 2007, well, probably by 2007, Putin had enough, and he went in that Munich Security Conference and give that historical speech now, in which he basically predicted everything that would happen after that if West will not change its policies and their attitude and approaches. And I mean, he was correct. And since then, since 2007, by the way, there is this rivalry, right? But you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't know, of course, what's going on in his head, but you know, he himself acknowledged that he was misled, right? At least on several occasions by the Western elites because he was trusting too much. Minsk one, Minsk two. He had during the televised interview, he said, isn't it, that Western elites just lied to him, and he was believing them. So I mean, you might be like maybe you might play 4, 5, 10 G chess or whatever, but if you've been lied once, if you've been lied twice, God knows how many more times, and if you still think that you can do business with those people that lie to you, then something is wrong with your chess game, right? Maybe you don't really play chess at that point. Maybe something else is going on. You know. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I'm you know, my take is quite clear. I'm opposing this. I think this is a waste of time. These talks with the Americans, with U.S. administration, it's just waste of time and sends wrong messages to public here in Russia. And if anything, we need unity more than anything, by the way, right? More than anything, we need the unity here in Russia. And we are united. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. We might be critical of this policy or that policy, but in general terms, we are very much united, right? There is no intentional like structure, unity is not crumbling, man. Society is very much united and behind Russian militaries, Russian security services. So there is no issue in regards to that. But I mean, questions still are there, isn't it? We have questions, we need the answers, and we want to be successful, right? We want to make sure that all this sacrifice by thousands of people is for something, right? I see Mach 204 is commenting revolution in Moscow. There are gonna be no revolutions in Russia, by the way. We don't need no freaking revolutions. It never ends well, man. These revolutions, right? Especially in this part of the world. I don't know, man. If you want revolution in your country, go ahead, do it. But I don't know you are from which country, but we don't need no revolutions here. I can tell you that. And you can go any day outside, do some social study, and you will find out that our society is united. There is no fiction in the society itself, right? So no, we don't need no revolutions, man. Anyways, let me also share, dear friends. There was a from Daniela was a super chat. Dean Modescatter, thank you very much for your $5 donation and super chat and commentary. Thank you for your honest journalism. Thank you very much, Daniela. I appreciate your support. Thank you. And there was also another super chat, dear friends, from Scooby. Let me highlight this. Warwick Powell, Michael Hudson, and of course Jeffrey Sachs are now openly criticizing the realist ideology of international relations. Let me do it like that. Do you agree with their criticism of it? You mean real politics being criticized, or I'm not sure, Scooby. I do understand the question correctly. Warwick, Powell, Michael Hudson, and of course Jeffrey Sachs are now openly criticizing the realist ideology of international relations. May Scheimers, do you agree with their criticism of it? I mean, I cannot agree with the criticism of realism, right? What we need more is a realism, actually, right? Realism and pragmatism. So, no, I don't want, I cannot agree on the criticism of realism. Another question is what we consider to be realistic, right? And and yeah, in the Western world, realism is fundamentally different stuff than how we see, right? Uh, Realism. So it's all comes down to basically corruption in a system. When in the Western world, by the way, I mean, policies of the globalists and the neocons are so provocative that they neither they are they are using more and more degenerate elements, right, to be put in a position of power to sign up for these decisions, right? And therefore, intellectual level of the Western political class has decreased tremendously. But this is done artificially, right? If globalists and neocons and their Zionists and all the others, if they were not so provocative, then probably they will allow some more adequate people to be positioned in among political elites in the West. So therefore, I think it's not the failure of the real politics or the realism, but first and foremost, it's a failure of the Western political system, which is so corrupt that decent human beings cannot even get close to it, right? And the Western elites are and their policies are so provocative, so extreme that they have no option but to choose absolute degenerates, right? And put those degenerates in a position of power to legitimize their criminal activities, right? And we are now in a situation when in the Western world, practically there is nobody with whom one can have actual real negotiations and have a faith that if any agreement is reached, this agreement will be honored. I mean, hopefully I'm explaining my take well enough, but that's how I see. Thank you very much, Scooby, again for your super chat and the $2 donation, another one. Thank you very much. And at this point, I shared, I think, all super chats. By the way, I reacted to all super chats, right? And now Boosty, right? I have to. It takes just a minute, dear friends. I know, Alexander, you say that you don't care about you know, about data being seen, but no, I mean, I don't. Uh, it only takes like second, isn't it? So I can. Uh, so okay, I'm ready now. There was a donation on our Boosted, dear friends, from Alexander G. And let me highlight this also, and then we will go through, and I will continue with the chat, dear friends. My apologies, sir, to anyone who considered there may be too emotional today, but it's a Sunday, isn't it? It's Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like a little more casual than usually, right? So, and maybe there was some donations through PayPal during the stream, dear friends. And if Anna, my wife, was too busy, if she didn't manage to check their uh, messages, I might not be able to react on it now, but I will highlight it during the next live stream. So this is a message from Alexander G. Thank you very much, Alexander, for your donation of $10 on Boosty, and this message, and let me read it for you, dear friends. Iran outlined what their response would be if they were attacked against her like this. It includes all we have seen now, and they would change their position on nukes. Vote for Iran pulling out of their NPT. Watch for Iran pulling out from NPT. And well, reports are, Alexander. I agree. First of all, I agree with you that Iranian officials were saying in advance what would happen if they've been attacked. So absolutely, I agree with you. They were saying why anybody is surprised. Really, I don't know, because for God's sake, man, Iranian leadership was very clear on their response, right? On their retaliatory actions and so on. And they are doing exactly what they said they will do. And when it comes to second part of your commentary, I think there is a probability. I think there is a probability that under the new supreme leader, Iran will actually move away from current restraint policy in regards to developing nuclear weapons, and probably will try to get their hands on one. Makes sense, though, right? Makes sense. I may don't like it. I would prefer, of course, NPT to stand, non-proliferation treaty to stand, but I mean, it already seems like this treaty is dead, man. Take a look at their statements that are coming from Japan, from Germany, from Sweden, even, right? I mean, Brazil, even joining this club of countries that are now openly hinting, kind of, that they might become nuclear. So I guess at this point, it's only a matter of time. And more and more countries will become nuclear armed states, and Iran might be one of them. And yes, I mean, it makes sense for them, right? Because this plan that they have to enrich uranium up to 60% and reach this latent nuclear deterrent status, I mean, it did not help them, isn't it? They reach latent nuclear deterrent status. Everybody knew that if they want to, they can build nuclear weapons, but they've been attacked anyways. So I think there is a high probability that once this war will end, probably they will go ahead and build the nukes, because they can do it, man. They reach latent nuclear deterrent status level, which means that only reason they did not build nukes because of their fatwa that was in place issued by previous supreme leader, right? Fatwa that was condemning nuclear weapons and prohibiting any works towards development of the nuclear weapon. And right now, Anna dropped a screenshot. Thank you very much, Natalia Bald Eagle. Natalia and the Bald Eagle, thank you very much for your $20 donation through PayPal right now. And comment is saying hi. Thank you for the updates. Thank you very much. Hello. Thank you very much. And truly grateful for your support and attention. Thank you. This was a donation from Natalia and Bold Eagle. And so, right now, one also dropped a screenshot. There was a $50 donation from Patrick on PayPal. Thank you very much, Patrick, for your donation, for your generous donation on a PayPal. And the comment from Patrick is, thank you for your excellent news coverage. Really enjoyed. Thank you very much for your generous donation and the kind words. Thank you. I appreciate your support and attention. Thank you. And yeah, let's continue. I agree with you, Alexander. I mean, with all points there. Probably they will go ahead and build a nuke, because latent nuclear deterrent did not help them, did not protect them. So, they have technology now. They have know-how. They know how to do it. Even if centrifuge is being destroyed, or even if this enriched uranium is somewhere in the, like 500-meter deep in the ground, buried, okay, they can build new centrifuges. They can enrich uranium again, right? It's about know-how. It's about knowledge, science that is behind this stuff, isn't it? And Iranian leadership was correct when they were saying that it is impossible to kill Iran's nuclear program, because it's not just a freaking facility. It's scientific knowledge, right, and expertise that Iran has. So it's thank you very much, Alexander, once again for donation, $10 donation on Boosty, and interesting commentary. And let's have a chat. By the way, now I will start from the beginning and scroll fast. And please, if you want to have a discussion about any topic, just use capital letters, by the way, or capital Q at least, right? It makes it a little easier to spot the question or the commentary that you want to be highlighted. And let's start from the beginning. Nikos always, I mean, not always, but quite often Nikos has comments to be highlighted there during the streams. So comment from Nikos, it's not like we have not seen Russia taking measures to protect their ships before. Remember when they sent their Su-27 at their Estonian Coast Guard, or their convoys with their corvettes, and then continuation here, which is baffling to me that they allow Sweden 2 times to seize a ship too close to them. Yes, I mean, day before yesterday, isn't it? Sweden seized another one. Yesterday or day before yesterday. Just now, by the way, they seized another vessel. That's what Nikos is referring to. I'll just say, I just say it. I think the Russian government got comfortable with the fact that all ships were returned. Maybe that's the case. But now they are trying to do. Not all ships were returned, Nikos. Not all of them. Vessel that, for example, Americans seized, I believe, have not been released. And I'm not sure about all the vessels that were hijacked in European seas. But anyways, but now they are trying to do it permanently, so they need to wake up and do something fast, whether it convoys or Wagner in the ships. Well, I agree with you. I agree with you, and I was from the very beginning saying that well, something has to be done about it. Otherwise, Western elites, these extremely emboldened criminals that are in charge of the collective West, emboldened due to that impunity with which they are committing crimes against Russia, war crimes included, they will not stop. They will only escalate, and at some point, they will try to impose actual maritime blockade on Russia, on the European part of Russia. And this is happening. This is happening step by step, but we are already facing elements of maritime blockade on the European part, right? North Sea, Northern Sea, Baltics, Black Sea is a disaster, of course, and even the Mediterranean, where at least several vessels were not just hijacked, by the way, but attacked, actually, damaged and destroyed. Right? Of course, all this stuff is done with strict coordination between number of NATO member states, their intelligence and militaries. First of all, UK, of course, UK, US, and their puppets, basically, throughout their Europe there. So I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, something has to be done when it comes to convoys. Yes, this is one way you can deal with the situation. Arrange some convoys of 20, 30, I don't know, 40 vessels and escort them until neutral waters, right? Until ocean, let's say. But technically speaking, it's not going to be easy. I mean, I'm not really confident that this is doable to build the convoys, large convoys, and escort them with the warships. Deployment of PMC staff, armed PMC members on warships, on commercial vessels that are linked to Russia, definitely doable. But in that case, what is needed to be done is that those vessels have to avoid territorial waters of NATO member states. Because if you notice, most of the hijacking is happening in the territorial waters of these NATO members. That vessel that was hijacked by Sweden 2 days ago was in the Swedish territorial waters. And even if you had an armed escort on board, armed group on board, from PMC Wagner or whichever PMC, they would not be able to defend the vessel. They would not be able to open fire because, formally speaking, vessel was in the zone of jurisdiction of Sweden, right? So they could not open fire, even if there were some armed people on board. So, but in the neutral waters, you can actually open fire and be proven that you were correct, right? In open waters. So therefore, marshals have to be built in a way that those vessels with the PMC staff on board will not enter territorial waters of the European member states. In some areas, by the way, like in Gulf of Finland, for example, right? I mean, Baltics is a difficult area, right? Difficult area to navigate, and maybe there might be some instances when you just cannot avoid entering the territorial waters of for this or that NATO member state. And if so, then yeah, I mean, you can't really do much if a vessel was hijacked right there and then in their territorial waters. Of course, you can always deploy a Reshnik, by the way. That will cool their heads down in these NATO member states, among the elites there. But yeah, if Russian leader was to authorize kinetic strike on these NATO member states that are directly engaged in a war against Russia and all sorts of provocations, then this would already happen, right? So because it did not happen until now, I don't think there is anything that West can do or will do, on which Russian president will react with the authorization of the kinetic strike. So even, I mean, yeah, what can I say, man? I think very many people here in Russia are on the same page, and Western elites probably are thinking the same. No matter what they do, they're not gonna be punished. They're not gonna feel pain, so therefore they have no incentive to act adequately, right? So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Something needs to be done, and probably will be done. But at this point, situation is so bad, by the way, that without bringing the pain to these NATO member states, nothing will work. We just have to bring the pain to them, and that will wake them up. That's it, man. That's how bad, devastatingly bad the situation is, really. I'm scrolling now, dear friends, fast, and if I notice capital letters or the capital Q, I will react on it straight away. Sorry if I'm unwillingly missed the question there or the comment. Oh, I spotted Nikos's comment, another one. According to Brian, Russia and China work too hard for the West, who are mean drunks, to come and ruin it. So you get to absorb because they are willing to do anything. I guess I understand what you mean. That Russia and China work hard to get to the point when they build some stuff that they want to preserve it, right? And they don't want these achievements to be ruined there. So we just have to kind of endure the pain because Western elites are just too crazy, right, to deal with them. And this is another way to take a look at the situation, right? But unfortunately, problem is that Western elites have no brakes. They would not stop. They will continue to bring to you more and more pain, right? Until the moment that you would not be to ignore it. They will just continue to increase this level of pain. That at some point you will be forced to say, no, man, there's no way I'm gonna ignore this no more, and you will be forced anyways to react. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Longer you wait, then more damage will be done to you, and more and stronger your reaction will be, right? That's all it is. Longer you endure this pain, higher will be damage to you, and stronger will be your inevitable response, right? So these Western elites, they don't really understand that increasing pain on Russia, bringing more pain on Russia, by doing so, they are actually sentencing themselves to inevitable, extremely painful response from Russia, which is going to come, and it's inevitable at this point. I mean, no one should think that just because Russia endured all this pressure and attacks and pain until now, this is going to continue forever. No, it's not going to continue forever. I can tell you that, man. Nothing is forever. Nothing is forever, right? So something's gonna change, and I said, man, retaliation is coming. There will be retaliation on European NATO member states, on UK, by the way. If anybody in UK thinks that, well, they managed to kill Russian citizens with impunity and you see nothing happened to them, no, man. Evacuate from the island. Just leave the island while you can. That's the best advice I can give you. Best advice I can give to anybody in UK right now. Just leave that freaking island, man. Go away. Save your life. Literally, save your life, man. Soon that island gonna become uninhabitable. And not because Russia gonna deploy nukes, man. No. But just saying, it's don't have to be nukes, right? Uh, and if you are living in UK, you're already realizing that Ireland is becoming more and more unlivable, right? Things are changing already dramatically and only gonna deteriorate. So, you know, no one gonna forgive, no one gonna forget, by the way. And there is a plenty of ways to revenge, right? It's not necessarily gonna be like kinetic retaliation all the time. There is different ways, right? I'm scrolling now fast, dear friends. Oh, same time I have to, of course, check. Right now there was another a gift from Viper of a premium subscription to a member of our community. So I can highlight this. And also there was a super chat from Scooby on Rumble. Let me highlight this super chat too. What the hell is wrong with this notebook, man? I literally every day some freaking additional technical issue is popping up. And when you think you just deal with one technical issue, I mean, literally next day there is something else, by the way. It's freaking funny and not funny, same way, same time. And so let me highlight the friends. So there was from Viper another gift to a member of our community of their premium subscription. Thank you very much, Viper. This is $5 donation to this project. So thank you. I appreciate your support. And also there was a super chat from Scooby on Rumble. Thank you very much, Scooby, for another super chat and $2 donation. And Scooby is commenting, maybe the goal is not to have a kinetic conflict with Russia, but to just keep putting more and more pressure on them until something breaks. Maybe that's the plan. But I mean, when people here, by the way, I mean, we can endure pressure, we can endure pain. We are just we are different in many ways, right? In this regard, compared to our, let's say, European cousins. European cousins had a good life for quite a long time. Good, peaceful, almost non-stressful in many cases life for decades, right? While we were living in very different conditions. So therefore, we are just we being forced, and generations of us, not just my generation, but even a bit younger generations, and definitely more older generations. We just being forced by life itself to be a little more resilient, little more tough, right? So that you be able to endure a certain level of pain and be operational nevertheless, right? And so, and we went through 90s. We went through 90s, right? It was a hell on earth, by the way. I was living in Georgia at the time, in Tbilisi, right, capital of Georgia. And I am from Georgia originally, by the way. If new members are watching now, they might don't know that I've been born in the Soviet Union, in Georgian Soviet Socialist Republic, right? So I was born there, I grew up there, and then in 2008 I had a conflict with the regime due to my journalistic work, and eventually I ended up in Russia with my family, right? That's long story short. But originally I'm from Georgia, right? And in 90s, I believe situation in Georgia was a bit more worse than here in Russia. Although it was extremely difficult times everywhere, all over the former Soviet Union, in Georgia, in Russia, in just everywhere, right? And I think it was easier to die during those times than survive. That's how crazy times was, man. Uh, I end up in several occasions when gun was I was under the gunpoint, right? Never for good reasons, by the way. I've done nothing wrong, right? But that's how crazy times were, and I didn't die, right? And I'm quite sure many people of my generation have the same stories, right? If I go through my stories, brother, you might think, "What the hell, man? What what was happening?" But yes, and many of us of my generation have these kind of stories, man. It was crazy times, and if we survive that, I mean, we will survive anything, right? So therefore, maybe their calculation is that they're going to just bring so much pain on Russia, so much pressure that something will break here, but it's not going to happen, man. We're not going to break. These people are not breaking, period, right? And that's how generation of my grandfathers defeated Nazi Germany. Despite this unbelievable pain that society was enduring, people didn't break, man. Society didn't break. And my grandfather was a volunteer, brother. He volunteered to fight Nazi Germany, right? And many others. Although it was a full-scale mobilization too, of course, but you know, and I mean, there is this resilience in the character of the peoples, right? That you know makes them just be able to endure much more pain than other societies would be able. So therefore, if Western elites are thinking that yeah, they're going to bring some more pressure, more pain on Russia, and then society will break, and there will be some internal disturbances and this and that, and then West will suddenly achieve its dream of strategical defeat of Russia. Well, I can say with 110% guarantees, million percent guarantees that this is not happening, man. Society not going to break here. Just impossible, simply impossible, right? So that's how it is. Although Western elites might dream about it. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. Thank you very much, Scooby, for your super chat on Rumble and their donation. And there was another gift from Viper to member of our community. Thank you very much, Viper. And another super chat from Scooby. Interesting one also. I will highlight now, dear friends. And well, answer is no, Scooby. I'm happy to see super chats, of course. I was just, I would like to see more people joining, right? This activity. But I appreciate your support. Every single super chat is a support for this project and my work. So I'm thankful to you, of course. And let me highlight this super chat. When there is a super chats, by the way, it's like it's a stimulus, isn't it? It's a good stimulus to do more, to work more, work better, and I'm like we all are subscribers to other channels, isn't it? And there is always this super chats popping up and stuff. And on my YouTube channel, there was no super chats ever, and no never gonna be, right? Because my channel is not monetized on YouTube, only on Rumble. And so whenever there is some activity in terms of super chat on Rumble, it always makes me happy. By the way, it resembles to these activities on the big channels, right? So it's nice. It's big support, of course, for my work and the project, and it's just nice humanly. It's just cool. And there was this super chat right now from Scooby, and I was reacting to this super chat, by the way. I think Levan is getting sick of all my super chats. No, Scooby, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your super chats, and I already answered it. I already reacted to this. So thank you. I appreciate your support. Hopefully, more members of our community, bigger community, will join uh, in this super chat activity. You know, and let's continue. I will continue to scroll, dear friends. So I saw this Nikos's comment. You see big capital letters actually helping to spot their comment. There is no 5D chaser. There is just survival for both China and Russia from a power that is like mean drunk. World War III is inevitable. It's just being delayed. Uh, I agree with you. I agree with you, Nikos. This is our existential struggle for Russian Federation that we are engaged now, and that's why I'm raising concerns, right? That maybe with restraint policies, maybe this is mistake, man. Maybe we are making mistake, and with these restraint policies are only inviting more trouble upon us. Maybe that's what is happening. I'm just asking questions, really, because obviously, whenever I'm sharing any opinion on like restraint policy or something, I'm still keeping in mind that my reading of the big picture is based on information that I received throughout the years. By the way, I get from open sources. That's the only source of information that I ever had, right? Open sources. And then it's up to my analysis of this information. How good am I in connecting the dots, right? To have a more or less good understanding of their situation. And I have a fear, by the way. I have a fear that with these restraint policies, all we do is inviting upon us more and more trouble, emboldening these insane elements that are in charge of the collective West, right? And I don't know. I mean, they have no reverse gear. They have no brakes. Only language they understand is force, and they are demonstrating this, right, in their policies. They are always on offensive, always aggressive, always want to do stuff with the force everybody to obey orders and stuff like that. So that's the only language they actually understand, language of force and intimidation, right? And so maybe, I mean, we are just wasting time exercising this restraint, and maybe we should deploy some other tools, right, to deal with those elements, right? And when it comes to World War III, I think World War III has already started, Nikos. Take a look at the number of countries that are involved in this proxy war against Russia. We are talking about up to 40 countries. Maybe only a few of them are engulfed engaged in this war against Russia on extreme levels, right? Like US, UK, France, Germany, some others. They are directly involved in this war, right? They are military specialists, the intelligence specialists. They are engaged in this war. They are taking losses. But other dozens of countries are sending money, sending weapons, so they are involved too. So it's up to 40, isn't it? This Rammstein group includes about 40 countries, correct? And now take a look at the Middle East, same time. It's Iran that is involved, all the neighboring countries, right? So we are already in dozen. US, if you count, of course, also US, Israel, UK, by the way, and UK is directly involved because B-1 and B-52 bombers are taking off from UK, conducting sorties, bombing Iran, and going back to UK. So if anybody in London says that UK is not involved in the war, it's a lie. UK is involved, right? Its territory being used to attack Iran. So that's the involvement, right? And the explanation London is trying to come up with is that, well, they allow US to use their military bases just for defensive strikes. What the hell? What defensive strikes? What they are talking about? It's a clown show, right? It's bloody freaking clown show that is happening in the West among Western elites. So I mean, it's dozens of countries basically. That's what I want to say. It's dozens of countries in case of this war against Iran and so on that are one way or another involved in this, and 3 to 4 dozens of countries are engaged in this proxy war against Russia. So how this is not a third world war already? It is, but what we don't have yet, and hopefully it will not come to it, is when major nuclear powers are not engaged in a kinetic war with each other. It's a proxy war, yes. US is involved in a war against Russia, and Russia might do whatever it can to assist Iran against the US, but it's still proxy. Formally, it's a proxy war, right? And hopefully, it will never come to direct kinetic strikes between US and Russia. But nevertheless, I think Third World War has already started. It's happening. It don't has to go nuclear. It does not has to go full scale nuclear, but World War III is already has started, and there is a high risk that maybe not a full scale nuclear exchange, but deployment of nuclear weapons gonna happen, and in short time, I think. And it's not gonna be Russia or US that will deploy these nukes. It's gonna be Israel probably. I'm scrolling now, dear friends. It's almost 3 hours. Almost 3 hours. This stream. Dear friends, if I by chance miss your question, my apologies for that. I'm scrolling to chat, and StreamYard has this window here in which I can see comments from both YouTube and Rumble in one window, right? And I'm just scrolling, and looking for like capital Q or capital letters. If I spot, I spot. If not, then. But I'm happy to see this conversation, by the way. I mean, great conversation between members of our community, and that's why these community chats are good. And yesterday I was mistaken. I forget that I want Saturday and Sunday's content, whatever it is, walk and talk video or the live stream, to be public, not to be unlisted, as it is the case with the programs during the weekdays. So therefore, yesterday's walk and talk video is still there on the channel. It's public. It's not been unlisted. And I think that's how it's going to be. This video will also stay on our page as a public video. But work days from Monday to Friday, that's a different story. Live streams will be public, as it was this week, and after the live stream ends, then videos will be unlisted, and original links will be available on the Patreon, and also full video will be uploaded on the Patreon. So if you want to see video on YouTube, you can use that original link from YouTube. If you prefer Rumble, you can use original link from Rumble, or you can, maybe you prefer Patreon, for example, or Boosty. You can watch video there. There will be options. And this week we had 3 new members on the Patreon, no new members on the Boosty, but sorry, not 3, but 2 new members on the Patreon. Maybe we will have third new member today, and hopefully more and more people will join our Patreon and Boosty communities. I'm scrolling now, dear friends, to react on a question or the. I see Smoky Sally's comment here. Levan, you had a question from Colin. It's in the caps. Really? I mean, you see, I guess I missed it already, and how should I find it? But right now I spotted this question. Thank you, Sally, for telling me. I spotted NSPK's question, capital Q. Do you expect the liberation of Slavyansk Kramatorsk by the summer? By the summer, by the end of summer, probably it is realistic to say that by end of the summer until spring, until autumn, these 2 cities will be liberated, Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. But until summer, in next few months, no, I don't think this is possible. Only if some temporary agreement will be struck between the sides and Kyiv regime will withdraw its forces from part of DPR that's still controlled by them for now. If not, then if it's going to be done by force, liberation of this city, then I think it will take at least, I mean, I'm not military expert, of course, but I think to expect that these cities will be liberated before end of summer is too optimistic, I think. Sorry, before end of spring, that's too optimistic. Before end of summer, maybe, because you understand this is from media standpoint, from political standpoint, gonna be massive for a Western ruling class, right? Globalists, and they will force Kyiv regime to throw everything they have in that direction. So battles for Slavyansk Kramatorsk agglomeration gonna be tremendously difficult in many ways, right? So but nevertheless, maybe before end of summer, Russian troops will liberate these settlements. But if some agreement is struck between the sides and Kyiv regime will withdraw its forces, then in that case, yeah, maybe the cities will be liberated before summer. There was a questions with the capital letters from Lucas, right? From Colin, sorry, from Colin. And where should I? That's what Smoky Sally commented, and where is that question now? Oh, I spotted, by the way. I spotted. Thank you, Smoky Sally, for letting me know. So you see, I scrolled little slowly now, and I spotted Colin Waterwall is commenting or asking question. Has their opinion changed in Russia or Moscow regarding their drones attacks deep in Russia? Not really. I mean, these drone attacks on Moscow or deep attacks on Russian Federation, it's irritating, of course. It makes people more angry, but also makes people more determined to go all the way, right, and defeat the enemy 100%. So there is no There is no division in the public. There is no panic, no scare. Um, more attacks on Russian Federation means more people will be more determined to go all the way, and that's the character of the people, by the way, right? That's why I was saying that if Western, while responding to Scooby's question, that if Western ruling class is dreaming about, that more pressure on Russia will crack the society and something will happen and stuff. No, they can dream about it, but it will never happen. You put more pressure on people here in Russia, people will be more united, more resilient, right? And there are these drone attacks. I mean, I was, if you have seen my yesterday's walk and talk video, I went through Moscow, central parts of Moscow, right? Sea of people. Whole day, capital was attacked, right? Whole day, Kiev regime, with assistance of NATO, was launching these drones, wave after wave after wave, right? And overall, yesterday alone, during the day, 65 drones were intercepted, right? In the Moscow region, while approaching Moscow. And you see, streets are full with the people. No one is scared. No one is, um, people just living their lives, and yet again, more pressure will just increase unity of the people and resilience. That's all really. So nothing is changing really. You're gonna struggle if can go on, walk around the Moscow here or any other city, by the way, here in Russia, and ask people what is their attitude there. I mean, I will say vast majority, absolutely vast majority, will be in absolute support of Russian militaries, Russian security services, right? And when it comes to policies, yes, I mean, policies are policies. You might be agree with some, you might be disagree with others, but general attitude here isn't that we are united. Unity is very important. Army and the security services have all the support they need, right? And people are determined to go all the way to defeat this Nazi fascist entity in Kiev, as this regime, and secure Russia, by the way, secure Russia Federation. As Russian leadership has said many times before, we have no intention, we as a country have no intention to attack nobody, right? If not provoked, Russia will never even think about engaging in some military operations against anybody among NATO member states. Although Western ruling class literally on daily basis tries to terrify its own people, its own citizens, that the Russians are coming. No, we are not coming, man. Right? We are busy here. So that's how it is. So these long range strikes on Russia, this will make us more angry, more determined to finish the job. That's how it is, really. And let me point out that not a single drone managed to bypass air defenses, right? And actually struck inside the Moscow. None. Right? All drones were intercepted. And by the way, Moscow probably is the most protected city in the world when it comes to air defenses. This was the case since the Cold War, basically. I believe there was an agreement between Soviet Union and the US that each side can pick one area that they will protect her maximum with the air defenses, right? And the Soviet Union picked Moscow, according to legends, by the way, and the US picked Area 51. You are familiar with the area, isn't it? Area 51. I'm not going to speculate what the hell is going on in that Area 51, but there are all sorts of rumors, isn't it? So they choose that place, allegedly, to protect. And there was a super chat right now from Scooby. Let me highlight difference. Thank you very much, Scooby, for another super chat and another $2 donation. And Scooby is commenting, Levan, maybe the solution to all this piracy and seas discrepancy between NATO and Russia is to actually ask China for help. They are huge. China to help. No. What they gonna do, man? What China is gonna do? They are big, yes. They have a bigger navy than we do. They have biggest navy in the world right now. Chinese navy is not necessarily most powerful. Most powerful, probably formally at least, is still U.S. Navy. But China has the most vessels, so Chinese navy is the biggest navy in the world. But when it comes to this piracy at the high seas committed by NATO member states, I mean, I don't think Moscow will ask China for assistance. We can deal with this situation. It's Russian militaries and security services can deal with any situation. That's the point, That's what makes me frustrated. That Russian militaries and security services are capable, extremely capable force, right? Extremely capable. I will say most capable force out there, most capable. And all it takes, by the way, is to give them a green light to do whatever they think are necessary, right? To protect Russian Federation, citizens of the Russian Federation, and their interests of the Russian Federation. And once you give them a green light, just lay back and chill out, man. They know what to do, right? And if they have a green light, no vessel, no commercial vessel, by the way, gonna be harassed at high seas, vessel that is linked with Russia. No, nothing will happen, right? NATO member states, Western elites will realize straight away that, well, that's it, man. Now things are changing. These guys have a green light to do whatever is necessary, right? And as soon as this kind of green light is given, by the way, right, I think Western elites will realize that, they are on the line now. So it's about green light. Russian president, he's not a lawyer, but his education is based on this judiciary stuff, right? And always was working in that way, right? Everything he does has to be based on the law, on the constitution, on this, on that, international law, whenever there is international relationships, right? And he just want to continue on this path. And this is a right approach, by the way. I mean, it's hard to criticize Putin for having a right approach, professional approach, right? But this approach, unfortunately, might fail in a world in which huge, massive segment of this world, collective West, is no longer cares about anything, international law, any agreements that they have made ever with anybody, right? They literally don't care about anything. Western elites, right? And so, I mean, you might try to preserve the system that was built after the, let's say, Second World War, right? When there was a certain norms, not necessarily norms, but we have UN, right? And formally speaking, it's UN that says what is the international law and what is not. But even UN is a joke. Even UN is a joke nowadays, isn't it? So, maybe we just have to focus on the preparations for a new emerging world, right? For a new emerging order. And it's gonna happen, man. They're gonna be new emerging world, new world order, in which international law will no longer have any relevance. It's already like fiction, isn't it? Whenever someone says it's against international law, I mean, seriously, man, what that international law even means? Look what Western countries are doing, man, for decades and decades and decades. But whenever they want to do something, that's good, man. That's always cool, right? If anyone does anything that they don't like, that's against international law. Seriously, and how long we gonna then continue play this nonsense? So that's what I think. Really, we don't need Chinese help to deal with these NATO pirates. We can deal with them on our own. All it takes is a political decision to be made in the Kremlin, and the hands of Russian security services and their military is being untied. And they are professionals, by the way. They know what is necessary. They know what to do, and they will take care of the things, right? So, that's what I think. And unfortunately, because Western elites have no reverse gear, have no brakes, it seems absolutely inevitable that at some point we will just have to go very tough on some of the European states. Not all of them, but on some of them, and possibly simultaneously. So that, and we will bring so much pain on those countries that everyone else would understand. I think, unfortunately, tragically, by the way, I don't really want nobody to be hurt, really, right? But unfortunately, Western ruling class is not leaving any other chances for Moscow but to take retaliatory steps and bring such a pain to those countries that are engaged in a war against Russia, then that everyone else will then understand that they have to just de-escalate and stay away. It's inevitable. I mean, what else going to happen? And the number of European countries already enduring pain. I mean, energy cost is increasing, isn't it? And unfortunately, this pain is being felt by ordinary people in UK, in Germany, in France, in Italy. Ordinary people, by the way, that have nothing to do with crimes that are committed by their leadership, right? That's most tragic and unfortunate in this, right? That pain is mostly and almost always endured by ordinary people. And the elites, they continue to do what they do. Thank you very much, Scooby, for another super chat and another $2 donation. And there was another super chat. And I will highlight that super chat in a minute, Scooby. Just spotted Nidish Kumar's comment here, and let me react on it. Levan, Afghans are hitting Islamabad with the drones. Did Russia provide them or China? Well, I know, man. Even though, of course, focus of the world is shifted towards developments in Iran, Pakistan and Iran are at each other to nowadays. The escalation started like 2 weeks ago already, isn't it? Even before U.S.-Israel launched war on Iran, right? And Afghanistan and Pakistan are still fighting each other. And I believe today, this morning, I read an article that Pakistani Air Force bombed again some areas in Afghanistan. Afghanistan retaliated, right? Now drones are deployed all over their place. I did not see a report about Islamabad being targeted. That's I'm hearing from you right now about it. Uh, but well, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. Pakistan is kind of divided, isn't it, between US and China? Very strange situation there. Very strange situation. Uh, on one hand, Pakistan is a Chinese strategical ally. On the other hand, the US has still, to nowadays, tremendous influence in Pakistan, on the Pakistani intelligence and Pakistani military. So what the hell is going on there, right? But I think China would not like to see Pakistan failing into full-scale civil war and being disintegrated. So therefore, I don't think they will provide weaponry to Afghanistan. It's kind of counterproductive for China. And I mean, I might say something that will be controversial, sort of, but maybe it's US that is assisting Taliban government. Because Americans know, man, they're gonna fail competing with China. They are failing. They already failed competing with China in Pakistan, right? And I think US will deploy tactics that they deploy always, everywhere, whenever they are losing competition, to chaos and destruction, chaos and destruction. And therefore, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Afghanistan, if Taliban government there is receiving assistance through CIA from US, right, to escalate with Pakistan, not just with their inter-border strikes, but also inside the Pakistan itself on the borderline regions where Pashtun people are living, basically. And there, we should keep in mind on our possible activization, significant, tremendous level of activization, for example, of Beluji formations too, right? So I think it's US behind all this stuff, man, not necessarily China, and definitely not Russia, by the way. Russia wants to just stay out of as many freaking problematic areas than that possible, right? So Russia is providing Afghanistan with some humanitarian aid, with some food. There are talks about Afghani people receiving opportunity to come to Russia for work, right? And not everybody happy about it here in Russia. I can tell you that. Very many people are not happy about increased work migration from foreign countries. But economy needs people, right? Economy needs people, and yeah, it's just an inevitable process, by the way, right? It's just, it is what it is. And so, yeah, I think it's US. It makes more sense to me, Nidish, that it's a US that is assisting Afghanistan to escalate with Pakistan, and maybe very same US initiated initial escalation from Pakistani side on Afghanistan. They might play both, right? Maybe US is just playing with both while destabilizing the whole region. First and foremost, Pakistan, because Afghanistan is, I mean, what you're gonna destabilize there? It's ruined, right? After Soviet Union left, by the way, Afghanistan had a tremendous volume of infrastructure. Soviet Union invested tens of billions of dollars, right? Hundreds of billions to build their everything, right, in Afghanistan. And when Soviet Union left, government that was implemented, the Afghanistani government, lasted only like 3 years or something. Najibullah's government, that was, isn't it? And then civil war began, and Afghans began destroying with their own hands everything that was built there by Soviet Union, almost everything. And then Americans came with their coalition, and they destroyed whatever was left. So there is very difficult to destabilize Afghanistan nowadays, isn't it? There's just nothing, nothing left to destabilize. But Pakistan is a different story. and US lost their competition with China there, and so it makes sense if CIA provoked Islamabad through their assets to escalate with Afghanistan. At the same time, very same CIA provided Afghanis with some means to strike back, right, and to push for more destabilization into Pakistan, because eventually, if Pakistan is destabilized, actually, right, and they're failed down or get divided on some ethnic lines, let's say, or maybe even sectarians, right? It's a possibility. There is a tremendous Shiite community in, for example, Karachi, right? And so, yes, which side gonna be a loser? Pakistan will lose, obviously. Both Pakistan and Afghanistan will lose if they are at each other and killing each other, and China will lose. And China will lose, right? US will lose nothing because they already lost competition with Chinese in Pakistan. So that's how I see the situation. Sometimes, it's not going to be necessarily like two major powers that are competing with each other. Sometimes it's one power that is playing with their many different parties, right? While pursuing its strategical goals. And as I said, there was a super chat, dear friends, from Scooby again on Rumble. Thank you very much, Scooby, once again for your super chat and for another super chat and another $2 donation. And the comment from Scooby is they can at least help with the labor and the industry support for the Russian military. The cost of protecting Russian ships will be greater. I mean, yes, China is doing its own bid, right? They are not against Russia. They are assisting Russia, Scooby. I mean, Russian economy is receiving quite a lot of stuff from China, including military industrial complex, I believe, including stuff that is then used in military industrial complex. Although it is also true that, for example, most of the FPV drones that Kiev regime is using also are originated in China, right? Many details, maybe not entire drones, but many parts of it are coming from China. So Beijing has very specific takes, specific attitudes. I think for China, relationships with Russia should be strategical one, really, ones that they cannot spoil, cannot afford to spoil for geopolitical purposes. But same time, they are very cautious, man. They are very cautious. If you might think that Russia is enjoying tremendous Chinese investments and stuff, and this is not really true. Even though we are neighbors, right? There is no like tremendous influx of Chinese investments of hundreds of billions of dollars or stuff. And one might ask, why is that? Maybe because there is no trust. Maybe because there is no trust between the elites of Russia and China, right? Something must be a reason, isn't it? China is investing tremendous volume of money all over the world, right? And why not in Russia? There are some investments, don't get me wrong, there are some investments, but tiny compared to what China actually can do. And so you see, I think despite all the statements of Putin and Xi Jinping that they are best friends and blah, 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 in reality, there are some tensions between Moscow and Beijing, and we are basically situational allies. We are not real natural allies. We are situational allies, and situational partnership is might last only for so long, isn't it? If we were natural allies, then China would act differently. China would not, in that case, would not play this game of neutrality and stuff like that. They will make their stance immediately, straight away. But because we are situational allies, they're acting differently. And they will continue to assist Russia in certain ways, right? But same time, they would not risk too much. They would not risk too much because yet again, we are just situational allies. We are not really like historical, strategical partners. I mean, we might say this in regards to India, by the way. I mean, with India, we have a much pleasant relationships. There were some difficult times in relationships with India for sure, but I mean, compared to Russian or Soviet Union China relationships or Russian Empire the China relationships, you know, relationships between Moscow and New Delhi is just brilliant, you know. So I don't know. It's a extreme cautiousness in the place because yet again we don't know each other. I mean, we and Chinese, we don't know each other that well. I guess we don't trust each other really. Maybe we don't trust nobody, and that's why. But yeah, I don't think China will increase its assistance any more than it already does. And Chinese assistance is that, well, they do business with Russia, right? They buy Russian uh, goods and services, right? And you know, they do business with Russian companies. That's all it is really when it comes to these relationships. They do same with Kiev regime, really. They do same with the Kiev regime. Maybe volumes are different, but they do business with Kiev regime too. So does it look like a partnership when your partner is providing lethal weapons or the components for the lethal weapons to your enemy? Not really, isn't it? So we have every reason to be like cautious with China, and probably they have every reason to be cautious with us because yeah, I don't know. We just don't know each other, man. I'm not happy with China for sure because you know if we are strategical partners, then you have no right to play neutrality games, right? You just have no right to play neutrality games. And China, country that pretends to be like top dog in this world, you know, just chickened out, right, from this fight. And if China is afraid to take a stand, then what about other countries, man? That are much, much, much more weaker economically than China is. So you see, I want relationships between Russia and China to be really, really great and friendly and stuff. But there is coldness, there is some cold vibes in this relationship. Something is not quite right there, and not because we have any like aggressive plans towards China. No, we have some mistrust maybe because of the history. I mean, I remember that in late 50s, that was, or early 60s, there was even a like military confrontation between Soviet Union and China, by the way, right? Alongside that Amur River. So there was quite a lot of negativity in history. And, and right now there was a donation from Sean, I will say. It's a business account, so I would not say the full name, only I will mention Sean. Thank you very much, Sean, for a $3 donation through PayPal. And comment is, hello, Levan from Connecticut, USA. I am hearing talk about Chabad in Russia. Very concerning. Why? What do you know? Chabad. What is the Chabad, though? From my reaction, you can understand, Sean, that I don't really know much about the subject. I don't know what Shabbat is. So thank you very much for question, but that's my honest reaction. I just don't know what that means. Shabbat. So I cannot really give you some interesting answer because I just don't know the subject of the conversation. And also, I spotted the question from Colin Waterwall. I already answered to this. Okay. Colin was asking about public opinion here in Russia, if there is any changes in regards to this long-range attacks on Russia by Q regime and its NATO backers. And no, there is no changes, by the way. There is more unity, more determined to go all the way and force Western ruling class to submission, right? To cease the hostilities and to basically conduct policies that are based on respect and understanding of the security concerns of the Russian Federation, right? And this will be done one way or another, but we will get there. We will get there. I'm scrolling. It's already 3.5 hours, dear friends. 3.5 hours. So I guess it makes all the sense. You see, Nate Dunning is commenting on a question from Sean from through PayPal. Chabad, I think it's a Jewish charity or something. Nate is commenting, and maybe I have heard this word. Now, when you explain it a bit, maybe I have heard this word either on a recent conversation between Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson or something. Maybe I have heard this word, but I don't really know much about it. Question was: is there are rumors that Chabad is like in Russia, operational or something? I don't know. I mean, we have of course Jewish community here in Russia. And a great community, by the way. We have great Jewish community, and there is no issue in a society between different religious groups, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist. We learn through history, by the way, through centuries. We learn how to live in peace and with respect towards each other, right? So there are great Jewish community here in Russia, and maybe they have some, not maybe, they probably have some charity organizations and stuff engaged in some work, but I don't know anything about this Chabad. This is American some stuff probably, right? Because in US there is a APAC and there is some US is a different, man. Yeah, US is a different, and I believe, by the way, I mean, I'm not an expert in I'm not a theologist, but in Judaism there is several directions, right? And there is one of the directions, one of the main directions that are led by rabbis from Russia, right? Rabbis that are linked to Russia, and this direction has a kind of significant confrontation with their other groups, radical groups that are linked more to Zionists and then American like forces, right? So there is some internal movements in this field also, but yet again, to know more details, you have to be expert in the field, right? You have to be theologist, and you have to study the subject on a professional level. So I'm definitely not a theologist, but all I can say is we have great Jewish community, by the way, great people, right? There might be some one or two bad apples, as it is the case with any society, anywhere, any religion, right? But We don't even. I mean, it's in the West. It's a topic of discussion. I know, right? Oh, Jewish people and Jewish religion, and this, especially now, by the way. But here in Russia, it's not subject, by the way. We all are different. We are uh, representing different religions. I'm Orthodox Christian, as majority of us citizens of Russia, but there are Muslims among us, Buddhists, Jews, Hindus, by the way, and we all welcome, right? We are one society. So that's how it is. And the U.S. American movement is a different one, right? And that's why whenever there is a conversation about Israel and crime that IDF is committing, I never use Jew. I never use Jewish people or something like that. I always say Israelis, right? Because I always want to distinguish religion and the regime there in Israel that uses religion as a sort of a shield, right? So that's what I think. But when it comes to this Shabbat stuff, probably I have heard about it in recent days, literally in past few days, man. But I just cannot recall where I read it or where I listen to it. I just can't remember. And I definitely never heard anything about it in the Russian media, by the way. And I read lot of stuff, right? So you see, there is more explanation on the subject from Obi. Chobarder Lubavik is the religious leader of the Israel ultra-Zionist sector, whose leader has a stronger influence over the lot of Western leaders and in Russian elites. In Russian elites? Hmm. Really? I don't know, man. What I do know, there is a school of study of Russian rabbis, right? And this is one group inside the Judaism, modern Judaism, right? And there is also school of study of from Israel itself. Maybe that's what you are referring to. And there is also in the West, and they are not really friendly towards each other, I believe. And Israeli religious leadership actually don't really likes Russian uh, leadership of their Russian Judaism, leadership of Russian Jewish community. So I mean it's a difficult subject, right? But I don't think they have. I mean, this Chabad stuff has much influence over the Russian elites, really. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, yet again, I'm not an expert, so. But from what I learn, from what I have heard, then there is a confrontation actually between the leadership of Russian Jews and Israeli Jews, right? They don't really, go along with each other. So I don't know. Yet again, I mean, I'm not a person who is knowledgeable enough about this internal stuff in Judaism to have a say. By the way, it's better if a Jewish person answers to the subject, right? Because they objectively have to know more, right? So thank you very much for explanations, dear friends. You see, there is a lot of stuff that I have not even heard about. Of course, by the way, because as one Russian say goes, "Vek živi, vek učis," which means century lived, century learned. There is always so much to learn, isn't it? And this is true, man. This is true. And dear friends, I think by the way, that's gonna be it for today. 3.5 hours of the live stream. Let me check just to make sure. You see, Scooby is Scooby. I forgot to drop a link. That's what the deal is, man. Scooby. Someone, why no one remember me to drop a link to our Rumble channel on a YouTube chat. Right now, Scooby was commenting. YouTubers in the chatter drop a commentary in a Rumble chat for a premium subscription. There, members of community might gift a premium subscription, like Scooby does often, and also Viper. And every such a gift is a $5 donation to the project. So dear friends, let me in a sec right now. Let me highlight this, and I'm gonna drop in a YouTube. It's maybe too late now. I should do this in the beginning, but nevertheless, I dropped link of Rumble in a YouTube chat right now, and there was a. There was this super chat from Scooby. YouTubers make a post in Rumble chat for a free premium sub from Viper. Thank you very much, Scooby. Thank you very much, Viper, for your assistance and support. And well, YouTubers have read their message there. And also, dear friends, let me highlight there was another super chat right now from Dwayne Cook on Rumble, and I will react on it. And that's about it, dear friends, for today. Hopefully you liked the video. We had a good conversation, isn't it? We truly had a good chat, I think. We spoke about so many stuff. And at least I shared half of the news segment that I had prepared. News from another half will be in tomorrow's live stream with all their latest updates, of course, that will become available from now to tomorrow's first live stream. And let me highlight also this super chat from Dwayne Cook. Thank you very much, Dwayne, for your super chat and the $10 donation on Rumble. And comment is from Dwayne. Keep up the great work, Levan. You're amazing at what you do. I have no questions as you have been streaming long enough. Thank you very much, Dwayne, once again for your kind words, for your attention and donation, support. Thank you. And dear friends, if I may, I will end this live stream on this positive note. Thank you all for your attention, for your time, for support that I'm getting. Have a wonderful day and take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.